Amritaha tu Vidya. Knowledge is indeed immortal. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and distinguished participants. A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Dr. Kirtana Basavaraj Chigateri, welcome you all to the Interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024, where industry and academia converge to create a platform of knowledge exchange and collaboration. Today marks the beginning of a transformative journey where ideas will intertwine, innovations will blossom, and partnerships will flourish. In this dynamic setting, we are privileged to bring together visionaries from industries and academia. As we embark on this exciting journey, let us embrace the spirit of collaboration and exploration where the intersection of theory and practice unfolds. The brightest minds from academia and the most seasoned professionals from the industry will synergize their expertise. Through engaging discussions, insightful panels, and collaborative sessions, we aim to forge connections that will shape the future of our industries and the educational institutions. So, let us dive into the rich journey of ideas, innovation, and collaboration that awaits us at this second Interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024 at NMAM Institute of Technology, NITTE. The chief guest for the Interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024 is Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, Government of India, New Delhi, and it is presided by Shri N. Vinay Hegde, President, NITTE Education Trust, and Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University Chairman. So now I request Dr. A. N. Parameshwaran Sir, General Chair, Industry Academia Conclave 2024, and Dr. Ajit Hebbale, Organizing Chair, IAC 2024, to escort the dignitaries onto the dais. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin this auspicious event with a sense of reverence. I invite Mahati and team from Department of Information Science and Engineering and from Electronics and Communication Engineering to lead us in the invocation. I request all of you to rise for the same.
नमिपे गणपतिय जगत्पतिय प्रथम नमिपे गणपतिय जगत्पतिय प्रमथपतिय श्रुतिकीर्तिपतियनु प्रथम नमिपे गणपतिय विघ्ननिवारक सिद्धि विनायक विघ्न निवारक सिद्धि विनायक बुद्धि प्रचोदक विद्याधिपतिय बुद्धि प्रचोदक विद्याधिपतिय प्रथम नमिपे गणपतिय जगत्पतिय प्रमथपतिय श्रुतिकीर्तिपतियनु प्रथम नमिपे गणपतिय
Thank you, Mahati and team. We are delighted to have you all with us for Industry Academia Conclave 2024. Your presence adds immense value to this gathering, and we are eager to embark on this enlightening journey together. I now request our beloved principal, Dr. Niranjan N. Chiplunkar sir, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning and welcome all of you present here for this second Interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024. As you all may be aware, this institution, that is Nitte Mahalinga Adyantaya Memorial Institute of Technology Nitte, started in the year 1986, is an off-campus institute of Nitte deemed to be university from the year 2022. When this institution was started under Nitte Education Trust, it was initially under the Mangalore University, then subsequently under Visvesvaraya Technological University as an autonomous college, and now it is under Nitte deemed to be university. So the first two batches of undergraduate students are under Nitte deemed to be university, and the third and final year students are under Visvesvaraya Technological University, because it's a transformation that's happening from VTU to Nitte deemed to be university. Coming to this Industry Academia Conclave, last year we had the first conclave, interdisciplinary conclave, with 4 different themes. And this year the preparations and the planning started for this particular conclave about 7-8 months back under the able leadership of Professor Parameswaran and his team. And today we are witnessing the conclave here with the inauguration program to begin with. This particular inauguration program will be presided over by our Honorable Chancellor of Nitte deemed to be University and President of Nitte Education Trust, Sri N. Vinay Hegde. Even at his very young age of 85 now, he makes it a point to guide us, encourage all of us to see that best of the education is being provided to all the students. Sir, we are very thankful to you for accepting our invitation and heartily welcome you to this particular inauguration program. Welcome you, sir. We have with us the chief guest of this inauguration program, Dr. Srikant Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, New Delhi, and member to National Climate Change Mission, Government of India. I remember when we were discussing and then deciding on various themes of this particular conference about 4-5 months back, that time the theme coordinators, they were requested to identify well-known personalities who have done real work in the respective theme areas, and the coordinator of sustainability theme, Dr. Shashikant Karinka, he said we have to invite Dr. Srikant Panigrahi because he has done a very tremendous work in this area of sustainability. Then we approached him and he was very kind enough to accept our invitation, and he is here with us today this morning. I, on behalf of all of you gathered, extend a very cordial welcome to Dr. Srikant Panigrahi. Welcome you, sir. On the dais, we have our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Nitte deemed to be University, Dr. M.S. Mudichaya, and Dr. Gopal Mugaraya, who is the Vice President Technical Education of our deemed to be University. I take this opportunity to welcome both of them very heartily to this inauguration program. Welcome you, sir. In the audience, we have very many distinguished speakers, experts and panelists who have responded to our invitation, and we have Dr. B. Ravi, who is the Director of NITK Surathkal. Sir, welcome you. He is going to give an expert talk under the theme of healthcare. We have panelists for the healthcare, Dr. Shyam Vasudev Rao, he is the MD of Forest Health, Bengaluru. Mr. Sarin Chandran is head of hardware development, BTL India Private Limited, Bengaluru. Dr. Kirtana Prasad, Director of Manipal School of Information Sciences, Manipal. Mr. Sijo Cheko, the Clinical Science Specialist, Philips Healthcare, Bengaluru. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this inauguration program. The observer for this particular track would be our own Dr. Aditi K. Welcome, madam, to this particular program too. The sustainability track, this is the second track. We have with us Sri K.P. Murthy, who is going to give an expert talk. He is the Sustainability Advisor, former Senior GM Bosch Limited, former Chairman SAE India. So a cordial welcome to you too, sir, to this inauguration program. Along with him, as an observer to this particular track, we have our own Professor Vinod Aranna, who is the Director of NITTE Institute of Architecture. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Aranna there. And the panelists for sustainability are Mr. Mahadev Chikanna, who is the founder and CEO of Munisco and ETHA, Bangalore. Mr. Prasad Vaidya, Director, Solar Decathlon, India, Bangalore. Mr. C. Subramaniam, Director, SSS Consultants, Bangalore. And Dr. J. Raja, Assistant Director, NPTI, Ministry of Power, Government of India. So welcome all of you to this particular inauguration program. The third and fourth track of this industry conclave, their panel discussion and the expert talks will be held tomorrow. However, we have our experts for pharma track and agricultural track as Mr. Krishnamurti Rao, Mr. Mohan, Dr. Poonam Baliga, Dr. Rekha and Mr. Krishnamurti Rao from various domains under pharmaceutical, and that particular panel discussion will have Professor C.S. Shastri, principal of our own pharmacy college, as an observer for that particular track. And also the last track would be tomorrow afternoon, that's on agriculture related, where we will have Dr. Dushyant Kumar, Mr. Deepak Parikh, Mr. Chintan, Dr. Atishay Jain and Mr. M.S. Rao as panelists, and Dr. Sudhir, the Associate Dean Academic of Justice K. Segde Institute of Management, will be the observer. I take this opportunity to welcome all of them heartily to this inauguration program. Amongst the audience, we have directors and deans and principals of various institutions of NITTE deemed to be university constituent colleges, our delegates who have come from different institutions, our own heads of the departments and then faculty members of various departments, and also our very enthusiastic students who have come to witness this particular inauguration program. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this morning's inauguration program, and I request all of you to be part of this two-day deliberations so that definitely something good will come out at the end of this two-day deliberation. Welcoming all of you once again, I wish the program every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We also welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Niranjan N. Chiplunkar, sir, for Industry Academia Conclave 2024. We are grateful to be led by a dedicated and inspiring principal like you, sir. Thank you. Supushpitaha swagatamastu thava. May your welcome be adorned with beautiful flowers. Now I request Shri N. Vinay Hegde sir, President, NITTE Education Trust and Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University Chairman, to florally welcome our today's chief guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi. Thank you, sir. I now request our beloved principal, Dr. Niranjan N. Chiplunkar sir, to florally welcome Shri N. Vinay Hegde sir, President, NITTE Education Trust and Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. A. N. Parmeshwaran sir, Director, Industry Institute Collaboration, General Chair IAC 2024, to florally welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. M. S. Mudithaya sir, Vice Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Ajit Hebbale, Associate Professor, Organizing Chair, to florally welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Gopal Mugeraya sir, Vice President, Technical Education, NITTE, deemed to be University. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Ashwini B., HOD, Department of Information Science and Engineering, to florally welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Niranjan N. Chiplunkar, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Nitin Shetty, sir, Associate Professor, Committee Lead, Industry Academia Conclave 2024, to florally welcome Dr. A. N. Parmeshwaran, sir, General Chair, IAC 2024. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Pradeep Kumar, sir, Committee Lead, IAC 2024, to florally welcome Dr. Ajit Hebale, Organizing Chair, IAC 2024. Thank you, sir. The lightning of the lamp symbolizes the dispelling of darkness and the pursuit of knowledge. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to join for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, signifying the enlightenment that this event seeks to bring forth. I request Harish Bhatt and team for Durga Sukta chant.
ॐ जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वा नावेव सिन्धुं दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टां देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसि तरसे नमः अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गाणि विश्वा पूच्च पृथ्वी बहुलान उर्वे भवातोकायतनया यशयो विश्वानिनो दुर्गः जातवेदस्सिन्धुन्ननावा दुरितातिवर्षि अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानो अस्माकं भोज्यविता तनूना पृतनाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं भवम परमात् सदस्तात् स नः परिषदति दुर्गाणि विश्वाक्षामद्देवो अतिदुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषिकमेड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाच्च होता नव्यस्य सत्सि स्वाञ्चा आग्ने तनुवं पिप्रय स्वाक्ष्मभ्यञ्च सौभगमायजस्व घोभिर्जुष्टमयुजो निषिक्तन्तवे ऐन्द्रविष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमपि संवसानो वैष्णवीं लोकह्यमादयन्तां कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गिः प्रचोदयात् हरि ओम्।
Thank you all the dignitaries for lighting the lamp, which leads to illuminating the event by light of knowledge, positivity and inspiration. Thank you, Harish Bhatt and team. Before we delve into the core of our program, let us take a moment to understand the significance of Interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024. I request Dr. A. N. Parmeshwaran, sir, Director, Industry Institute Collaboration, General Chair of IAC 2024, to brief the purpose, goals and highlights of IAC 2024.
Namaste. Thank you very much to the Pidahama of NITE group, Sri Vinay Geji, and we seek your blessings. And thanks to Dr. Srikanta K. Panigrahi for accepting our invitation, and we are following him and with him for the past 3 months. Sir, thank you very much. Amidst your busy schedule, you have taken much things from me, I know very well. So thank you very much. You come with Madam also, sir. Thank you very much. And our dynamic, positive energy Vice Chancellor, Dr. M.S. Muditaya, is our source of energy. And Dr. Gopal Moharaya, who is always given a clear Chanakya direction to us. Thank you very much, sir. And there is no need to tell, this all happened because of the full trust the principal has on us. Sir, thank you very much, sir. And my beloved young colleague, who I am disturbing for the past 10 months, Dr. Ajit. Thank you very much. A year before, for this year Industry Academia Conclave, which is not only inter, also multidisciplinary, we have meticulously gone through the documents of NITI Aayog and the other government agency to identify the focus area of development in the near future. We have shortlisted 4 interdisciplinary focus areas, namely health sector, pharma, sustainability and agriculture, where the NITE University has reasonable strength to take it forward. The salient points of this identified focus area where we have seen in the various documents. In the Union Budget 23-24, the government allocated 89,155 crore to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The Indian government is planning to introduce a credit incentive program worth about 500 billion to boost the country's healthcare infrastructure. It is home healthcare industry projected to be worth $8.8 billion is experiencing notable expansion into smaller cities. The Indian health technology market is estimated to grow at an annual rate of 22%, reaching $35.8 billion by 2030. With the digital health market expanding from $12.2 billion in 2023 to $25.64 billion by 2027. As the industry expands, healthcare companies seek skilled professionals, including AI specialists, data scientists, and software engineers. The sustainable goals, there are 17 goals and 100 indicators that lay out an agenda for global development by 2030. NITI Aayog is the nodal institution for achieving SDGs in India with the spirit of cooperative and competitive federalization. But the important challenge is for the SDG is localization. How we are going to localize these SDGs? So some of the SDGs are grow affordable and clean energy, increase industry innovation and infrastructure, mobilize sustainable cities and communities, influence responsible consumption and production. For promotion of research and innovation in pharma and MECT sector, Department of Pharmaceutical through a Gazette notification on 13th August 2023 has proposed a budget outlay of rupees 5,000 crores for Indian companies, is the largest provider of generic drugs globally, also is known for its affordable vaccine and generic medications. The Indian pharmaceutical industry is currently ranked third in pharmaceutical production by volume after evolving over time into thriving industry, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 9.43 since the past 9 years. In the Union Budget 23-24, rupees 1.24 lakh crores has been allocated to Department of Agriculture Cooperation Farmers Welfare. Rupees 8,514 crore has been allocated to the Department of Agriculture Research and Education. The agriculture sector in India is expected to generate better momentum in the next few years due to increased investment in agriculture infrastructure such as irrigation facilities, warehousing and cold storage. In this context, the Industry Academia Conclave 2024 is an outcome-based event with identified objective, starts from internship to Center of Excellence. Industry 2024 has 3-tier approach for each stream, namely expert talk, panel discussion, focus group discussion, where our faculty, research and students will engage with experts for deeper level interaction and to explore any possible collaboration. The stream heads already had 2 to 3 rounds of online discussion with the panel members for better outcome. The panel discussion observer from related topics from our sister institute in NITE deemed to be university is going to be observer, and they are going to summarize the proceedings of panel discussion, which is going to be the key point for focus group discussion. The Interdisciplinary Academia Conclave 2024 brings the institution under NITE deemed to be university under one platform. And for the past 8 months, the engineering department, biotechnology, CSE, ISE, robotics and AI, electronics and communication, electrical and electronics and mechanical civil engineering are closely interacting with SHEMA doctors medicals and SHEMA various department in medical and pharmacy NGS MIPS group and NIA NITE Institute of Architecture group and NITE Atal Incubation Center group and NMIT Bangalore in formalizing sub areas and to identify industry and academia expert in this area for panel discussion and plan for focus group discussion. I am happy to inform that we have reached more than 1 lakh industrial people and institutions, faculty members, students, statutory bodies members, funding agencies, ministries through LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, email and in person. Thank you very much for the chief guest for also taking steps to put it in his LinkedIn and his institute LinkedIn about our conclave. I thank also each department overwhelming the target of achieving 1 lakh. Thanks for each department who has taken lead in this. We also received best wishes from message from number of eminent people like AICTE chairman and L&T and BEL. So we are very thankful to them that it reached the correct audience and they also appreciated our efforts. We are confident that the Conclave 2024 will bring some solid outcomes at student level, faculty level and institution level for a long-term partnership with industries. For the past 1 year, more than 100 people, exactly 108 people have involved in this conclave work. At this juncture, from a deep heart and with my folded hands, I thank each and everyone who traveled along with me for past these 10 months, starting with NMIT Principal Dr. Niranjan Suprungal and Dr. Mithandeya Dean, Vice Principal, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Control of Examination, Sri Yogesh Hegde, Director Campus Development, Mr. Gopinath Sir, Advisor, who has helped me like anything in the initial document reading and insight. Thank you very much. And the entire backup team, Dr. Ajit Ebbal, Organizing Secretary, Treasurer, Dr. Ashwini, Dr. Nitin Kumar, Mr. Pradeep Kumar, Dr. Bhumi Gowda, Dr. Prabha Niranjan, Mrs. Deepa, Mrs. Ashwin Shenoy, Mrs. Kirtana, Mr. Chimmani Chetty, Dr. Anusha, Mr. Brajwal Hegde, Dr. Vishwanath, Mr. Dhananjaya and Mr. Rupesh. The entire front-end team, stream head Dr. Shasikan Karinga, Dr. Ujjwal, Dr. Narendra, Dr. Balasubramani and heads of institution and faculty members from SHEMA, NGS MIPS, NIA, Institute of Architecture, NITE Incubation Center, NMIT Bangalore and all others. And the list is not end. There is a big list, but this is a core people who almost in every day we are used to meet them. And above all, NITK director who has given tip, then and there I ask him. Even after finalizing these 4 areas, I send him for vetting. And he has sent me the message, if I am in your position, I would have taken only these 4 streams. Sir, you would have remembered. You are sent me 6 months before. Sir, thank you very much for all your support. Not only he has taken a special interest to give for our faculty members some teaching opportunity at NITK, which is underway. Sir, we cannot forget your help, sir. Above all the institution vertical directors and who is always supporting to us, and our director from R&D, Sriniketan sir in innovation, also Dr. Syed and Smita Hegde, institution heads are there. Thank you very much to you. Above all your students. from NMIT and NITTE Educational Trust. Without you, nothing is possible. And with the blessing of my Acharya and Lord Shiva, I strongly believe that this will give some solid outcome to NITTE University as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for briefing the purpose, goals, and highlights of Industry Academia Conclave 2024. Now, it's our honor to have our chief guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, Government of India, New Delhi, amongst us today. I request Dr. Ajit Hebbale, Associate Professor, Organizing Chair, IAC 2024, to introduce our chief guest to us.
Very good morning, respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi. Dr. Panigrahi is a globally recognized thought leader in sustainability, currently serving as Director General and Distinguished Research Fellow at Indian Institute of Sustainable Development and its initiative Carbon Minus India. Both are public policy think tanks and scientific research institutes at New Delhi. He is a well-known Indian policymaker who has worked with Government of India, United Nations Environment Programme and the World Bank. Sir plays a crucial role as a member to the National Strategic Knowledge and other missions working on climate change, and also he working on National Action Plan on Climate Change in the office of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Additionally, Sir serving as in various government and United Nations expert committees and working groups focusing on natural resource management, electric vehicles, climate change, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals implementation. Sir is a key representative of India in international climate change negotiations within UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and he is widely acknowledged as the chief architect of Indian carbon market. Sir received many awards, among which Science Popularization Award received by our Honorable Prime Minister, Government of India, and for his extraordinary contribution and commitment to popularize science among the common mass. Sir received formal degree in civil engineering, masters in environmental city planning, business administration, and doctorate in public policy specialized in science policy. His educational journey spans in prestigious institutions in India and abroad. His academic expertise extends to a postdoctoral research fellowship from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge, USA. He was also an UNESCO fellow, during which he delivered various esteemed guest lectures at across the Europe and around the globe. With this brief note, I could say Dr. Shrikanta Panigrahi is a pioneer in sustainability and a visionary leader shaping the future of our world. So please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi. Welcome you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. It is our distinct honor to have our chief guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, amongst us today. His presence here adds a profound sense of importance to our event. His remarkable achievements and impactful contributions are truly an inspiration to all of us. I now request our chief guest to deliver the keynote address.
It's a great pleasure to spend some precious time and discuss and with all of you in this auspicious morning. And I am hugely I am hugely inspired and to be in this campus, and I really liked the kind of the natural environment you all are studying and worshipping knowledge God. I am also equally inspired by the great visionary Sri Binay Hegdeji, and for whom all of us are here. I would like to express my utmost respect to Sri K.S. Hegde, who is the person and the great visionary who loved the land, the people, and although he is a person of courage, conviction, and he decided to take care of the land and create employment, spread the light of education in this region. So we must, all of us, express our gratitude for him, and his version, Sri Binay Hegdeji, he could have gone to abroad, and I come to understand the entire Mangalore region and this particular part of the country, there are a huge migration, and let it be in Mumbai or Bangalore or Delhi or in other part of the world, they are always linked to their roots, but people have gone away. He has not gone, and he has carried out his father's vision, and he has expanded the noble services in the interest of mankind. So we must express our gratitude for him also. Now we all are here together in this auspicious moment because there is a purpose of the God. It may be new and interesting for us, like I am first time in your campus, but it is all designed and destined by Almighty, that at this point of time, while working all of us in their own way, we will meet for a while, exchange our ideas, exchange our knowledge, and for the welfare of the humanity and the planet. Sustainability is a huge challenge now. You all of us know how we all are struggling for the protection of the planet. Planet is our only home. Let it be any country. The country boundaries doesn't matter. Now, say it water, say it energy, say it air, all the Panchabhuta, they are universal. That is there for the planet. And if you see the history of civilization, slowly these country boundaries are getting removed, erased, and we all are going to be a part of the family, say it telecommunication, say it pharma, say it health, say it agriculture, say any part, anything. Whole world is getting converging to a point, and anything which is best of one area, one person, that is for the global good. Even it has gone beyond national good. We are in a process of transition, and that day is not very far, and where there will be totally no meaning of the country boundaries. Nature and the is always beyond country boundaries, and in political boundary system of the nations, that is also going to be erased very soon. You all are aware the problem of climate change. Now the ocean currents are not there where it used to be. The cold currents has become hot currents, many of them. The air pressure belts has been shifted. The where it used to be low air pressure belt, now that has been shifted to high pressure, and there is a huge natural changes we are witnessing. Ecosystems which we used to complement each other are in conflicting mode now. We have frequent disasters. We have all the crises we are facing now. It is the beginning of a very dark era for which nobody is responsible other than us. Our living style, our connection to nature, it is the entire planet is our home. So for our safety, for our security, for very much of our self-interest, we need to protect our only house, that is the blue planet. So how to protect the planet? There are many challenges. Time is very less. We cannot discuss all of them. Sustainability is the only way forward. We have no other way. Now, there are many things we need to do which is inevitable. We cannot get rid from it, and for larger interest of the nation, and larger interest of the humanity, we need to do that. Now, I will run my presentation quickly, and I will tell in India where we are and what we are aspiring for, and how India can emerge as a very big player and a global leader, not only in the field of the economy, but also in the field of sustainability and decarbonization. We want growth, sustainable growth, taking care of everything and living along with nature. So you must, all of us know, recently Conference of Parties 28 was organized in Dubai, where India showcased its leadership, global leadership in a very big way. Now, what is sustainability? Sustainability is nothing but, there are three pillars of sustainability. One is social sustainability, one is environmental sustainability, one is economic sustainability. The social means people. Whatever will be done, it must be in the welfare of the people. If it is of no use to people, then it cannot be told sustainable. The another is environmental, that is connected to planet. Otherwise, if planet is not there, we are not there. And the next one is economic, the economic growth, which will create employment, prosperity, and that will come with all of us working in a very proactive environment with a vision and a targeted goal. So how to balance these three and achieve real development which is in the interest of the welfare of the world. There are, as Parameshwar sir told, there are 17 goals of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You all are familiar with that. So those goals should not remain as goals. That has to be translated into action so that the planet or the earth becomes a very nice place to live in. There are challenges, there are differences that needs to be sorted out, and we should go in the path of development. Coming to the social sustainability challenges, in India we have huge inequality. The entire wealth of the nation, 50% of the wealth of the nation is with 1% of the population. And so that is a very unequal distribution, and that has created poverty, that has created hunger, and that has created many other negativity to achieve the sustainable development. There is a lot many debate, as it was told, in Niti Aayog has recent reports in all these subjects, and there are 169 targets of UN sustainability. We have enough information on that. But we need to learn from that. The report which is displayed, every state is competing with the other state to improve their sustainability indicators. As I told you, 169 parameters, like every state have their score, and which state will come among the first 10, which states are the last 10, that dynamics keep changing, which is directly proportional to proactive policy decisions and followed by the sustainable actions. So the populations, people to be at peace, there should not be, poverty should be reduced and hunger should be minimized. Around 40% of the Indian childs are malnourished. They don't get enough nutrition for their survival, for which Global Hunger Report has classified India beyond 130. And these are the great challenges in front of us. We think about ourselves, our studies, and our family. We need to go beyond to think about nation and the humanity at large. And there is, that enhances our scope of vision and orients us in a very proactive strategy and self-determination goals. Among all these 4 sectors, they are converge into sustainability, say it health, say it agriculture, say it pharma, and the industrial development. People think industrial development is not in favor of environmental conservation, but those things are wrong notions. We need development, we need industrial development. There are different stakeholders. The industry is one of the stakeholders. Academia is another stakeholder. Government and policy making is another stakeholder. And all need to come together, join hands to have a sustainable nation and this planet. Coming to the health sector, most of our and the entire budget and outlay, Parameswar sir told to all of you, this is a huge allocations, but it is a matter of worry that India spends a lot on curative health, not on preventive health. The more you see any developed country, there it is reverse. The curative health allocations are comparatively less. If you spend a lot on preventive health, like I am very much impressed, the culture of this area, the people are very much into yoga and connection with nature, which is more of preventive in nature. Water is a very serious sustainable indicators, and only 6% of our population have access to safe drinking water. Like the access to 6% doesn't have access to safe water. The rest 94% are having, whereas 54% doesn't have access to sanitation, irrespective of Swachh Bharat mission and all that. So these are the very challenging factors. There could be a water war, you all have listened about it, and to enhance the water is one of the precious natural resources. The next is followed by minerals, followed by forestry, and these resources are not valued while calculating our GDP. So these aspects needs to be taken while doing the sustainability assessment. This is the report which I was telling you. State-wise, they gave the indicators. This is. Will you kindly enhance the this thing volume so that this can be displayed?
development goals or not, something related to clean water, good infrastructure, we have education, clean energy, and something to fight climate change as well. This time around, India has in fact improved its score. In 2019 it was 60, 2021 it's 66, so there is some improvement as far as these goals are concerned. If we talk about state-wise performance, as you were pointing out, it's Kerala which tops the list as far as the top 5 states are concerned. This is followed by Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, then we have the other states that is for you on the screen, and in the top 5 list we have Maharashtra as well. And going to the next list, which is the bottom 5, there we have the worst performance by Bihar this time around, then this is followed by Jharkhand, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, we have the likes of Chhattisgarh, Nagaland and Odisha as well, some of the northeast states out there. If we'll just look at how the scoring is done, so this will come up for you on the screen, where anyone who achieves 100 points is an achiever, and then we have front runner, performer and aspirants. In terms of that, Mizoram, Haryana and Uttarakhand are the top gainers who have done really well versus last year as per the report, and we also have number of union territories which have improved to 12 versus 10 earlier to come in the front runner category. Some of the states which saw an improvement in the category from the lower to the upper ones are here for you on the screen. So a lot is done, but a lot more needs to be done, but there is some improvement that we've seen according to the report this time around.
So I have already told you social, environmental and economic. So how to balance that? What are the different parameters, and the intricacies are given detail in the presentation. In the interest of the time, continue.
Dearest planet, we've always counted on you to give us water and land and air, a canvas of life, and most of all, a home. But now you're the one keeping count. 8 billion people and counting. 137 lost species daily and counting. 2 billion tons of waste every year, and temperatures rising everywhere. Today's ecological challenges are all connected. To grow more food, we need more land, but this can damage the ecosystems that protect biodiversity and absorb carbon from the atmosphere. And without solving the waste challenge, we risk increasing greenhouse gas emissions. To tackle these issues, we all need to work together and focus on collective actions that can make a positive impact on the world's food systems. So, dearest planet, it's time for you to count on us. Nature-based solutions can help mitigate our ecological challenges by reducing our reliance on fossil-based resources.
So, I will conclude it with very prime slides, which I will run quickly. You can watch the screen. The kind of the consumption we are adopting. If you see the Gandhian philosophy, the planetary resources belong to planet, and God has created this system like this. Everything is replenished. Nothing is lost in the system. But if we exceed the threshold, certain things will not retrieve again. We have to be very mindful on that. Whatever resources we planetary citizens are consuming now is too much, and that amounting huge pressure on our natural resources. And if you see the global average figure of resource consumption, we are consuming 1.7 Earth now, as of now. So we should not take, it should be much less than 1, and the global average is 1.7. India's consumption is 0.7, but there are many countries who are over consuming. If you see this screen, USA consumes 5 Earth. The UK consumes around 2.7, 2.8 Earth. China consumes 2.1, and India consumes 0.7. So the consumption of resources has to taken care, and that is very important. I have explained to you about climate change. Here some of the challenges has been listed out, many of them I have already told. We need to offset the carbon emissions. There is a very scientific procedure which is given by United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that is necessary, like how the kind of the greenhouse gases. There are 6 greenhouse gases which are converted into carbon dioxide equivalent, and that needs to, whatever we have thrown to the stratosphere of the earth, that needs to bring down so that we can retrieve the earth. So how to do that, how to offset? There is a scientific process. And these are the 17 goals which we are working on. The green hydrogen is extremely important. Government of India is investing hugely on green hydrogen. India aspires to become a global greenhouse gas hub, and so that we can export green hydrogen based energy to the other countries as well, after meeting our basic requirement and meeting the electric vehicles. There is a relationship between biodiversity, climate change, and the air pollutions. This is called triple bottom line of the environmental challenges. There are all of them are interrelated. So we need to have the right policy, and these are the report of the Global Partnership Alliance, and how these 3 issues needs to be combined together. We need to restore our ecosystems, and to do that, there is no more differences among the thought leaders. Take for example, Clean Air Asia recommends 3 things. As a common man, while you are buying something, be sensitive that what is the water footprint of this product, what is the carbon footprint of the product, and if a consumer doesn't buy energy intensive and highly products of higher carbon and water footprints, planet will automatically start retrieving. Be mindful of your dress, and also link it to carbon, water, and ecological footprints. And lifestyle is very important. You must be aware. In India, in G20, we have announced a new drive, that is sustainable lifestyle, which is known as Life Mission. And for Life Mission, there are green credits, which Prime Minister announced in COP28. And we are going to expand it not only within the country but beyond for every global citizens. So for industries, they are regulating, they are becoming more and more environmentally sensitive, and now instead of bringing annual report, the industries are looking for to bring integrated report. Like in an annual report, there are financial audits and there is a financial balance sheet. So an integrated report will ensure that there are social audits with a social balance sheet and environmental audits with an environmental balance sheet. So all the environmental indicators, social indicators, financial indicators, 3 of them will be declared to the public, and it will be made a transparent, open document, which is called now annual report. It will be called integrated report, where social and environmental indicators are integrated. And BRSR, business responsibility and sustainability reporting, is being advocated by SEBI, the only industry regulator. Accordingly, now BRSR is taking up huge popularity, and environment, social governance, ESG, how a company can become plan its growth, taking environment and social concerns into account. So boardroom will debate and discuss not only the economic growth, but also its strategy in social and environmental sector. And there is a huge connection of academics with industry, for which all of us here in this event. And keeping that in mind, it has a great relevance to understand this. So there is a summit coming up by United Nations Environment Program, which is known as the Summit of the Future. And now there are wars. There are two global wars are taking place. The resources are not used properly. There is a lack of trust between nations. So there is a requirement of a global convergence to make Earth a better place to live in, for which this has been planned, which is coming in September 23rd, 24th. And we need to be very mindful of while using global resources, and we should not forget our basic duties. And while doing that, we need to integrate the interest of our institute, our family, and the nation and the planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your address has truly resonated with the audience, making the event both memorable and enriching. Your expertise and passion are truly exceptional. Now, I request our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. M.S. Mudithaya, sir, Vice Chancellor, Nitte deemed to be University, to address the gathering.
Very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Our honorable and beloved Chancellor, Sri Vinay Hegde, who is the head of Nitte family. I always say the Karta of Nitte family, and also Karanakarta for bringing all of us together. Erudite speaker and the Director General of Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, Dr. Shrikant Panigrahi, who gave a very scholarly lecture right now. Dr. Gopal Mugaraya, our Vice President Technical Education. Dr. Niranjan Chiprunkar, Dr. Parameshwaran, and Dr. Ajit Hebale, who have organized this very significant industry academia conclave for the second time. Last year you just started, which was a great success. Dr. Ravi and many other distinguished invitees here, our heads of institutions and functional directors, our colleagues and young student friends. Possibly some of you would have, or at least most of you would have watched our Honorable Finance Minister presenting the interim budget yesterday, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman. She was telling us that Vikasit Bharat 2047, by 2047 India is going to be the Vikasit Bharat, and she was highlighting on some of the significant aspects of Indian economy today. And he was telling that though the global slowdown, we have the fears of the global slowdown, and the world is likely to grow only at around 3.1%, India would grow at 6.5%. And India's growth story is intact. We fully agree with her. But then, the very important question that we all need answer in the nearly 1,100 universities of this country and more than 50,000 colleges that we have in this country, the important question to be answered is, how well are we preparing the talent for realizing India's growth story? Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that every year in our universities, nearly 95 lakh students take admissions for the UG, PG and doctoral programs, 95 lakh. You also know that at any given point of time, if you take the inventory of manpower pursuing higher education in our universities, it is around 4 crore 41 lakhs. This is, I am quoting the AICTE report. Please try to understand that I'll take only 5 minutes for my presentation. Please try to understand that as we produce the talent for fueling our growth story, one important question that we always ignore is, are we developing the right talent that can be consumed by our industry? Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that one of the common complaints the industry has about academia is that you are producing talent that cannot be employed by us. The employability is an issue. And it's quite common for the industry to say that we don't like your face to our students at their face. Now, when the industry says, I don't like your face, even if your friend is a plastic surgeon, there is no point in going to him and getting plastic surgery done. That's not going to help. The surgery that we need to do is to ensure that whatever we do in academia is taking note of the requirements and the kind of skill sets that the industry is looking out for. And therefore, it is necessary that, as our Honorable Chancellor always tells us in his own inimitable style, he says, look at your curriculum, make it acceptable to the industry, look at your academic delivery processes, look at your evaluation processes. It is not that two professors sit together and decide whether someone got 45% or 50% and whether he passed. That is not enough. Look beyond that and always keep in touch with the industry. I must tell you, my dear friends, that at NITE University, which is today at the 65th position as far as NF ranking among the 1,100 universities of the country, what we are trying to do under the able leadership of our Chancellor is working out a strategic plan 2030, wherein the collaborative initiatives with the industry is a very important area. I'm really grateful to Professor Parameswaran and his team, and this team, they are working out very, very well, and whether it is curriculum development, having members from the industry in our board of studies, whether it is the academic delivery, that is trying to get the professors of practice and adjunct faculty from the industry to be with us, whether it is the research and consultancy area, wherein latest, I was just talking to Dr. Praveen Kumar Shetty the other day. 5 years back, the number of papers produced were just 238, and now it has crossed 1,100. And similarly, 30% of these papers, this is another important area, are in Q1 and Q2. These kind of initiatives, plus lot of add-on programs, and also establishing centers of excellence. And especially in this campus, I must congratulate all those who are in this campus, especially Professor Niranjan, Professor Gurraj, Dr. Veena. All of them are working on trying to ensure that the curriculum we design is industry-oriented, and also start centers of excellence wherein our students can be given internships here. And many companies have already come. I must tell you that nearly 25 Japanese companies have signed MOUs with us. And you will find 2 or 3 of them they have a place in the campus. In the days to come, many more are going to work with us, and this will pave the way for ensuring that our students get enough opportunities for internships, our students get enough opportunities for placement later, and also many collaborative research initiatives would be possible. I'm very eager to speak to Dr. Ravi about the possible collaborations between our medical college and our colleagues at the Mangalore campus and here, and what we can do together. I personally believe that in academics, there is nothing like competition. We collaborate to improve our competitiveness, and I'm sure in improving the competitiveness of NITE group of institutions, which is fondly nurtured by our Chancellor and Pro-Chancellors and many of our colleagues, we will pave the way for, we will take all such initiatives to ensure that we improve our competitiveness and make us industry relevant and make our students industry ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm quite confident that in that regard, this conclave that we are going to have will script a new success story. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your remarkable address. We We look forward to the opportunity to hear from you again and continue learning from your wisdom and insights. I now request our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Gopal Mugeraya sir, Vice President, Technical Education, NITTE deemed to be University, to address the gathering.
Eldrigu Namaskara. Respected President of today's function, Honorable Chancellor and President of NITTE Education, our mentor, Dr. Inaugural, Chief Guest today, Srikanth Panigaraji, respected Vice Chancellor Muditaji, Niranjan, Parameshwaran and Ajit, my dear good friend Dr. Ravi, functional directors, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of NITTE Education Trust and Institute, I welcome each one of you, and it's a great honor to have such a competent gathering. About 4 months back, when I met Parameshwaran about this program, I told very clearly that if you want to have a meaningful conference, you should get the elite expert to the conference. The success of the conference depends upon how good the people are. I'm very happy. I should compliment Parameshwaran for getting such an elite crowd here, as to the experts, so that the discussion will be very meaningful. Friends, I've been asked to speak only for 4 minutes. I'll take only 4 minutes. First of all, I've been in the higher education system for more than 35 years, 25 years in NIT Surathkal. I do hear this buzzword called Industry Academia Conclave every time. But unfortunately, it has not taken off. For the last 10 years, it has taken very well, because there's a synergy between the teachers and industry persons. Now, we do a lot of teaching learning process, then go to the laboratory, and from laboratory to industry, it's not taken off. Now it's taking off. And the research was never an integral part of teaching learning process. Now it is. But if you take the statistics, I'm very unfortunate to tell that in 2023, there are 42,000 patents filed in India, 42,000 filed, but only 3% are taken to industry. 97% of our patents in India are not taken off to the industry. So this is where exactly done. So this we have to address, because we work on silos. Unless there's a synergy between industry and academia, and how to take the help of our UG students, our access becomes weak. I've seen when I was teaching in Surathkal that our students are excellent. Now I want to tell you that NITTE Education Trust is so good that this institute, 90% of the students have scored more than 85% in PUC. So we've got a very good student crowd. The raw material is very good. The product has to be good. Now, the next thing is that one of the initiatives I've taken in NITTE Education Trust is the Atal Incubation Center. All of you know that in 2020 we started this with about 10 crores in investment from the government of India, and 1 crore from here, from our trust, as well as 20,000 square feet of our building. I'm very happy to say that we have given support for 75 startups, which includes the Agriculture Incubation Center also. Now, this is a very successful story that we want to bring. Out of 6 incubation centers in Karnataka, ours is the only in rural area, rest all in Bangalore. That means that rural development has to take off. Now, we should utilize, as our chief guest said, to have a sustainable development, we require 3 P's and 3 E's. 3 P's are profit, planet, and people. And 3 E's are ecology, economy, and employment. So when we have this together in synergy, we'll achieve it. Now, we are trying very well to the student that we never prepare a student for a job, we prepare them for a profession. Because a job is a passion called as profession. We like our student to take up them, and many of the students have taken off. They want to be back in the story. Lastly, when I was giving big lecture, my wife asked a question. You are giving a big lecture, what you have done? Now, I tell you, after my 35 years of study, my service, all my legitimate income I put into a village. I purchased 10 acres of land near about 20 kilometers. I'm starting a sustainable farming in my village, which is the nature. So that all of us should plant. I'm planting about 20,000 trees in my farm so that I can go back to that. So with these few words, I once again thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this function. I'm indeed honored. Thank you, Namaskar. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring all of us present here. It added a valuable dimension to the event. Dear audience, we are happy to share that we have received heartfelt best wishes for the Industry Academia Conclave 2024 from the Chairman of AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education, Chairman Professor T.G. Sitaram. I request Professor Ganesh Pai sir from Computer Science and Engineering Department to communicate the gracious best wishes received for Industry Academia Conclave 2024 from AICTE Chairman.
I am hereby to share the message from Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education. The message goes as, I am delighted to offer my heartfelt congratulations to the NMM Institute of Technology NITTE, off-campus center of NITTE deemed to be University, Mangalore, for their outstanding efforts in organizing outcome-based interdisciplinary Industry Academia Conclave 2024 on 2nd and 3rd February 2024. I hold the utmost confidence that the lessons and insights emerging from this conference will resonate deeply within our academic institutions, research endeavors, and policy-making initiatives on 4 vital sectors of economy: holistic well-being and healthcare, energy, sustainable agriculture. The exchange of ideas, presentation of innovative research, and collaborative discussions meticulously planned for this event will undoubtedly serve as pivotal step in addressing the pressing challenges of our contemporary world. May it achieve resounding success and stand as a shining beacon of knowledge and collaboration for all participants involved. My best wishes, Professor T.G. Sitaram. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The encouragement from the distinguished personality in the field is truly motivating and reinforces the significance of the event. We are honored to have Professor T.G. Sitaram sir's support for the Industry Academia Conclave 2024. Now, I request Shri N. Vinay Hegde sir, President, NITTE Education Trust and Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University, Chairman, to deliver the presidential address.
Good morning. Dr. Srikant Panigrahi, Dr. Ravi, my colleagues on the dais, and participants in this conclave. I'm not a scientist, but I have been working in this field for the last about 65 years. Education and industry is the area in which I have worked for the last 65, 70 years. A conclave of this nature, unless it ends up with some final result, possibly it would be not useful to the society. Many conclaves are held to bring commonality between the industry and the education system. Industry feels the graduates who pass out from institutions like this obviously learn their engineering in the industry. I'm also a small-time industrialist, and many times we feel the bright boys who come out of these institutions are not good enough for the industry. So I think something the education institute must understand. It's not the academic alone which makes a good teacher, which makes a good engineer. You have to ensure that there has to be compatibility between the user and the discipline the boy learns. And I think this has to be taken as a challenge. I would first like to deal with the healthcare, about which Srikant was talking in great detail. In this country, about 70% of the populations are living in the rural area. And their exposure to the medical science is very limited. I'm keeping South Canara out of it because South Canara has multiple medical institutions. I understand there are about 12 medical colleges in a small district of Dakshina Kannada and Udupi. But the point is, what really happens to the rural people who are living in the rural areas in this country? Are they exposed to the recent changes which is happening in the medical field? Do you have to do something about it? You really must understand that changes which is happening in the medical field is mind-boggling. And I believe as a young boy, the common diseases were typhoid, tuberculosis, etc., and there are no further major problems till about 5 years back. Now they come back with complement. Why the comeback has taken place is something the rural people and the medical education and the hospital must learn. I think today a tuberculosis patient has a less chance of survival than what it was earlier when streptomycin was considered to be the drug for treating tuberculosis. The other part of it is, in the rural area, the diagnosis which is done takes huge amount of time. By the time the patient really understands that he is a diabetic patient, is a TB patient, or multiple other diseases, it is too late for him to get treatment. I think something has to happen. This institution, I congratulate the medical college that they run some 24 rural centers treating every day more than 1,500 patients in the rural centers and maybe about 1,500 patients in the main hospital at NITTE, at Mangalore. I think there has to be something should be done. If you really look, the sulfur drug was considered to be the miracle drug when I was schooling. Then the antibiotics came. Today there is resistance against the antibiotic. And I think the scientific people who are in the medical field, scientific people who are believing that they are developing new drugs, must understand immunity is a great factor which will not give the benefit of the research work unless you really try to understand that the diagnosis in the first place is done properly and for which facilities has to be created. I being part of the medical education system, have great doubts about the graduates who are passing out and their knowledge about the drugs which have been given and possibly the backlash it has in a time frame of 5 to 10 years. I think these are issues which has to be considered by the education system because you are the people who are going to give the younger doctors the knowledge to develop pharma products and multiple other things which you are going to give. One part of it you must understand, lifestyle possibly is an important factor. Lifestyle is the cause of diabetics. And I personally feel a conclave of this nature must have a detailed discussion in a rural area where diseases like tuberculosis, which is reappearing with women, and I believe that something has to be done. Streptomycin is gone, multiple drug system has become history, and it has to be done in a very constructive way. And I believe the younger engineer, you have a great role to play because all the radiology equipments which are the mainstay of diagnostic, and you should try to get some exposure. If you really come to a medical college, you find ultrasound, CT scan, MRI, whole body scanner, multiple other equipment. And if it is available to the rural people, obviously the disease will be diagnosed very quickly. But unfortunately, the cost is so high and it is not affordable to a poor person. How to make it affordable to the poor person, and a poor person, his disease is diagnosed quickly. These are issues must be addressed by the academia. Academia cannot live in isolation. If I look at the people joining the institution, I find multiple of you are interested in doing computer engineering. Computer engineering is a supporting system. It gives you more data and helps you to identify how we could help the basic departments like the medicine, agriculture, the mechanical engineers for industry, the civil engineers for civil construction, multiple other things. But I believe that in my 85, Niranjan talked about my age, in my 85 years of experience in life, things have not improved at the speed at which I thought it should improve. The things don't move forward, and I think education is a degree-based education, and I believe you should learn how to get out of the degree-based education to a knowledge-based education. And I believe that time has come that many of you, when you pass out of the institution, you'll find it difficult to get a job, because all of you would like to do computer engineering. My advice to younger people is bring commonality between different segments of the engineering. Computer getting into mechanical, electronics getting into electrical engineering, civil getting the benefit of material science. These are issues, continuous change must happen. As far as the healthcare is concerned, I really appreciate the change which has happened in the medical system. But the same has become unaffordable for the poor people. If you want to have an MRI, if you want to have a whole body scanner, a patient has to spend 3,000 to 6,000 rupees for a single sitting, and absolutely unaffordable to the poor people. How we are going to get rid of it? Niti Aayog, other people must try to understand how to make this diagnostic facility affordable to the common person. Yes, now the new growing number of people who come with cancer, it is very worrying. Though in my days, younger days, cancer was not a very virulent disease. But today I find a percentage of people are candidates for cancer and diabetic. Diabetic is possibly, if you control your food habits, could become a solvable problem. But cancer, it is not like that. Cancer, possibly the belief is not curable, is not correct. The problem is it has to be diagnosed at the earliest point. If you really find out as quickly as possible a cancer patient is diagnosed as a candidate for cancer, it is limited to one small area and it could be treatable. Then it spreads. Once it spreads, there is no treatment. So I think there are many challenges for educated people, like the people who are in the engineering line, like the people who are in the medical line, like the people who are in the dentistry line. They must do something. Money, ultimately, if you believe education is the base for making money, you will not get satisfaction. You will never get your satisfaction when you are affected with it. When your family members are affected by it, then only you will understand. I lost my sister, so I know little more about it, and I am from a very affluent family, but I could not do anything for her. So I think these are issues the conclaves of this nature must discuss. Sustainability is something which is very close to Srikant. Sustainability is a word which is used because what you start, it has to sustain. But even in the medical system, it is not sustainable. There is Ayurveda, there is homeopathy, and there is allopathy medicine. Allopathy medicine, today's context, is only valid for 3 to 5 years. As I said, sulfur was the miracle drug, then it came to broad-spectrum antibiotics, multiple other things came in. And I believe one of the easiest example is a very common disease related to a type of temperature growth. I instantly don't get the name. And it had a very easy, chloromycetin was the easy way of treating. 100% of them were cured. But today it is no further so. Why? Because it is changing. With the changing medicine pattern, with the changing, the disease also changes and it becomes resistant. And how to see that the treatment practice is sustained. So there has to be change in the system, change in the education system, that it is not simple. If you really believe cholera or any other disease of this nature, it has to be controlled. You must believe the only way is to find out. You must believe that these diseases will change with the introduction of new drugs. New drugs bring in resistance, and the resistance makes it impossible to treat it until a new drug is formed. I think these are multiple factors, and unfortunately our education system is so bookish that the changes which is happening are unfortunately not known to the poor people. I'm very proud of the institution, especially the AICTE Medical Academy. They are running 24 hospitals in the rural area. Try to find out who could be treated by them and who could be sent to a higher center of treatment. Then the question comes, when you go to a higher center of medical treatment, like AIMS or like many of the medical colleges which we run, the cost is there. Who pays the cost? The government must understand this country has almost 150 crores people, and how to provide all these facilities to the people, this conclave must discuss. And I sincerely hope that life of the people depends on the comfort they have. The comfort brings diseases because your eating habit changes, your physical exercise changes, multiple changes in your lifestyle happen. Consequence of it is you are more prone for disease than what we were about 30-40 years back. 30-40 years back, we are hardworking, we are physically much more stronger than what we are today. And my advice to younger people, have a look at your life and see that mental happiness across the board, very close here. We have a center for counseling people about their stress-related problems. And I think one of the reasons people have dissatisfaction, people become unproductive because of the mental stress. And I think these are issues which education, this college possibly in another 2-3 years are going to have about 8,000 students. And when you don't get a job, with your satisfaction, stress will come in. When the stress comes in, your productivity will come down. I think these are multiple issues which I feel bright people in front of me must try to make an introspection of it and see that how a implementable education system which is proactive to the industry, proactive to the people. My concern, industry may take 1 year to train the engineer and make him productive for the respective industry. But medical science is not so. 75% of the people live in the rural area. And I want all of you to give more emphasis to the medical area because 80% of your equipment, medical equipments are engineering products. I think there must be some way to bring closeness between the medical institution. My friend Dr. Ravi is sitting here. You are a great institution. I have minimal exposure to that institution. And I want you to be the nodal point in bringing up multiple engineering colleges which here, whether from the point of view of teachers, point of view of facilities, and multiple other things. You are blessed with a great educational center, but it should not be limited to some 1,000, 2,000 students. You must allow at least the faculties of other engineering colleges, you must have some sort of collaboration and see that these teachers are also, if not as good as yours, are reasonably good. And I'm very sure with a dynamic person like Ravi, I believe, and Manipal, I believe in South Canada, the education system could be made very friendly to the industry. I would have taken a little more time, but I have to go back to Mangalore to meet my other professional commitment. I wish the conclave well. I congratulate Dr. Parmeshwaran for organizing this conference, and I wish all the participants knowledge and commitment to live up to the expectation of this conclave. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Your leadership and insights have always inspired and guided us. Now I request Shri N. Vinay Hegde Sir, President NITTE Education Trust and Chancellor NITTE deemed to be University, to present a memento to our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, as a token of love and respect. Thank you, sir. As we come to the end of this formal inauguration session, I request Dr. Ashwini B., HOD, Department of Information Science and Engineering, to propose vote of thanks.
Respected Chancellor, Shri N. Vinay Hegde, Chief Guest Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, honorable members of the industry and academia, dear participants and delegates. Good morning to one and all. I am honored to stand before you to extend my heartfelt gratitude during this momentous occasion, the inaugural function of the Industry Academia Conclave. A profound appreciation is extended to our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, for gracing us with his presence and addressing our august audience. Your words have not only inspired us, but have set a high standard for the entire conclave, encouraging us to strive for excellence and fostering robust collaboration between industry and academia. Thank you, sir. We extend our sincere thanks to the driving force behind all events at NITTE deemed to be University, our Chancellor, Shri N. Vinay Hegde. Your presence has added significant value to this occasion, and we are grateful for your continuous support. Thank you, sir. Special thanks to the distinguished guest of honor, Dr. M.S. Muditaya, Vice Chancellor, NITTE deemed to be University, and Dr. Gopal Mogaraya, Vice President, Technical Education, NITTE DU, for your encouraging words. Thank you, sirs. Our gratitude extends to our all-time motivator and supporter, our principal, Dr. Niranjan N. Chiplunkar. Thank you, sir, for your unwavering support. The inception of this conclave is attributed to the vision of the event's General Chair, Dr. Parameswaran, Director, IIC. Thank you, sir, for transforming this idea into a reality. On behalf of the IAC team, I thank Mr. Yogesh Hegde, Director, Campus Maintenance and Development, Dr. I.R. Mitintaya, Vice Principal, Dean Academics, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Vice Principal, Controller of Examinations, Dr. Harsha Harahalli, Registrar, NITTE DU, Dr. Rekha Bandarkar, Deputy Registrar, NITTE DU, Dr. Subramanya Bhatt, Deputy Controller of Examinations, NITTE DU, Dr. Sudesh Bekal, Dr. Rajesh Shetty, all directors, principals, and HODs of various institutes under NITTE DU. Thank you for your support and presence to this Industry Academia Conclave. Thank you all. A heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers who will be sharing their expertise and experiences, providing invaluable insights into the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities in the industry-academia interface. Your contributions will be instrumental in shaping the discussions. Thank you, sirs and madams. We would like to express our appreciation to Dr. Prakash and team, Kshema, Dr. C.S. Shastri, Principal, NITTE Institute of Pharmaceutical Science, Dr. R. Narayanacharyalu, Vice Principal, NITTE Pharmaceutical Science, Professor Vinod Aranha, Director, NITTE Institute of Architecture, Dr. H.C. Nagaraj and team, Principal, NMIT Bangalore, Dr. A.P. Achar, COE, Atal Incubation Center, Mr. Puneet Rai, Incubation Manager, AIC NITTE. Thank you for helping us in finalizing the topics and connecting to the experts. Thank you to one and all. We are thankful to Sri Gopinath, Advisor, NMAMIT, who has been with us since the inception of this conclave, offering valuable input and guidance. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman, AICTE, for your encouraging words. Thank you, Dr. Ravi, Director, NITK, for the support extended towards the conclave. Acknowledgements are also due to our sponsors and partners whose support has been pivotal in making this conclave a reality. Thank you. A special mention goes out to the stream heads and their teams for their tireless efforts arranging distinguished speakers and panelists. Your dedication is commendable. Thank you, sirs. The organizing committee deserves our gratitude for their meticulous planning to ensure the smooth flow of events throughout the conclave. Your dedication and hard work will be an integral part of the resounding success of this event. Thanks to Mr. Satish Naik, Digital Media Executive, and Mr. Krishnaraj, PRO, for helping us in starting with the posters to the backdrop of the stage and arranging for the beautiful mementos. Thank you, sirs. Thank you to all the student volunteers who assisted us in organizing the conclave. A big thanks to all the registered participants who have come to witness the various talks and panel discussions. Thank you to the NITTE University management for supporting this conclave in all aspects. Special thanks to the coordinator, Dr. Ajit Hebale, for his contribution or coordination with all teams, ensuring seamless collaboration and execution. Thank you, sir. Appreciation is extended to the RE office for their assistance in making necessary arrangements, guest house officials, and the media for covering this event and spreading awareness. My sincere thanks to the entire audience for your attentive presence. Finally, we thank each of you for your support extended to the Industry Academia Conclave 2024. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to continued collaboration and success in the future. Thank you.
Dear audience, we will soon commence the session on healthcare stream. I request the medical related participants to be here. I request the coordinators to take over.
This expert talk connected with this industry conclave where knowledge meets innovation and industry leaders connect with future trends. Today, we are honored to have with us an esteemed expert, Dr. B. Ravi, Director, NITK Surathkal, who will share their invaluable insights and experiences with us. His journey in the industry is not just inspiring, but also a testament to the endless possibilities that lie ahead for each one of us. I request Dr. Narendra Kresi to escort the speaker, Dr. B. Ravi, onto the dais. I now request Dr. Sukesh Rao, Associate Professor from Department of ECE, to introduce our speaker to this august gathering.
Yes, sir. Good morning, one and all. It's my pleasure to introduce today's expert talk speaker, Dr. B. Ravi, Director, NITK Surathkal, for this function. So I'll make it short because of the time constraint. So Dr. B. Ravi was the Institute Chair Professor of Mechanical Engineering at IIT Bombay, where he concurrently headed Biomedical Engineering and Technology Innovation Center and DS School of Entrepreneurship. He is a distinguished alumnus of NIT Roorkela, from where he graduated in 1986, followed by the Masters and PhD at IISc Bengaluru. He is a Fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering and Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellow. Dr. Ravi developed AutoCAD software. He has used nearly 200 foundries, labs, and improve metal casting quality. So BETIC team developed 50 novel medical devices, incubated 16 startup companies, and licensed 14 products of local industries. These have benefited several thousand patients. Professor Ravi guided nearly 100 PhD master students. He shared the relevant knowledge through 270 technical articles, 400 plus invited conference talks, and 75 training programs, benefited thousands of teachers, students, and working professionals. As a member of the Governing Council of Board of Center of the Manufacturing Technology Institute, Bengaluru, Kalam Institute of Health Technology, so Vishakhapatnam, Professor Ravi guided the vision strategy, several government agency, AICTE, BIRAC, BAS, DBT, DST, ICMR. So he utilized his experience in expert communities for the project reviews, policy information. So with this brief profile, I introduce before you Professor B. Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to Dr. B. Ravi for his expert talk. Sir, please take over. Happy learning, everyone.
Thank you very much. A very good morning, but I'm not going to start until all the front seats are occupied. I'm going to tell stories and you won't enjoy stories from such a long distance. All the backbenchers, please come forward. (11:37). I had to catch a flight and I had to leave at 12 sharp, so I don't know how I'm going to tell a lot of stories. We'll see. You have to move fast, all the backbenchers. Dr. Panigrahi, Dr. Muditaya, I don't know, so passionate, and also Dr. Vinay Hegde. It's been a dream to hear all of you. I actually wish I had copied everything that you had said like a sincere student. And you spoke from the heart. Both of you spoke from the heart. You are worried about the education of the generation, and of course you are looking at much bigger pictures. I think I will touch some of the points which you are talking about through this thing. But I would have liked also some question answer session at the end, but I think I'll have to run at 12:05 maximum. I'll have to run. Okay, so let's see. Slides are there. So you can see something in the first slide itself. What you see is a smart stethoscope which was used to do screening for about 10,000 rural, poor, remote patients in near Gadchiroli district in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and the stethoscope came from the lab. I was earlier in IIT Bombay, I used to run a medical device innovation lab, and it came from the lab. The person who is putting stethoscope is not a doctor, he is an engineer, okay. We engineers put a white coat and then it looks like a doctor. Doctors have a white coat, okay. We engineers do not have any uniform, okay. But anyway, that's a story which I'll touch upon as we go forward. Let's see if it works. Where should I point? Okay, it works, okay, right. So, my story starts from 2003, almost exactly 20 years back, when a ortho-oncologist, which means a person who treats bone cancer, okay, he invited me to see a surgery of a child who had cancer around the knee joint, and instead of amputating the leg, this doctor would open the leg, remove the entire knee joint, part of the tibia, part of the femur, and replace with a joint which is imported from USA via Singapore. I met him in a conference like this and he said, come and see a surgery. Of course, it's a long story, but just to prove that I was surgery, you can see my picture on the right side, right? So I was there, that's a proof. That's how I used to look 20 years back, 2003. Now, so that's a surgery which happened, and then we had a coffee after that, and then I went back. Except that, where is the next slide, okay? That, you know, it's like a kida in the brain, no? The doctor said it costs 5 to 6 lakh rupees after subsidy. And most of the patients are poor people, they can't afford. Just the joint cost is 5-6 lakh rupees. He says, if we can make it in India, wouldn't it be great? So I joined hands, so I am there as mechanical engineer. Then we had Dr. Manish Agarwal, he is the doctor, a surgeon. And then we had Dr. Balasubramaniam from Hyderabad, who was working in a metallurgical government lab, okay? NFTDC, Non-Ferrous Technology Development Center. So we all got together and then we started developing an indigenous joint. You can see this is not like an arthritic joint which our grandparents get it. It is like replacing the entire, it's like a mega prosthesis, okay? And then we developed the joint, we developed the machines, manufacturing process for that. This is from the first batch which came out of that. And then we thought our job is over. The doctor said, no, we can't put in the patient directly. We have to prove that it is safe. So we built a walking machine on which you put the joint and it walks the joint for 1 million cycles, equivalent to about 5 to 10 years of walking. We walk about 1 lakh cycles per year average, okay? So we built those machines. Initially machine would fail, joint was safe. But then we later on found joint could last for 10 years and we were very happy about it. I thought the job was over at that point. Then the doctor said, no, we also have to build the instruments for doing the surgery, to cut the joint at the right angle and position it properly and things like that. So we did that, filed a patent also on that, and of course got utilized here. Then doctors, then I started getting worried at that point of time. Well, it is such a complex surgery, what if something goes wrong? They will say IIT professor is to be blamed. I'll go to jail, doctor won't go to jail, right? So then I said, let me be very safe. So we also developed a software where you can take a CT image, convert into 3D images, plan the joints surgery, where the position, what the components, and then finally then I thought maybe that will be good. All this took some time. This happened to be India's most complex, I think, medical project, also the longest running project. 2003, 2004 we started. And finally the day came when, there's a lag here, so I'm glad you saw the picture very briefly, but if you want to see before lunch, here is a quick picture of how it looks like, okay? I'll skip that, but that's, you can see a little better, the tumor removed from the knee joint. And why this is little jumping, sorry about that. I want to show one picture. This is, okay, there's a video here, and you can see the entire X-ray, right? The X-ray, you can see that. The whole knee joint is replaced with a mechanical joint. That's why it's mega prosthesis. And actually there's a video of the patient walking, I think about a week after the surgery. You will not make out whether which side of the leg he got the surgery done. So I think there is a lag and then it goes two times. So no problem. So this is the first picture which I showed you in 2003, and then this is the other picture in 2019. We had the first surgery with our own indigenous knee joint. Okay, 15 years it took us the whole journey. About 25-30 crores of government money funded by the advisor to Prime Minister. It was a long story. This story has 34 episodes. It'll take me 2 hours to tell a story. I'm telling people we can make a Netflix or a, Amazon Prime, right? Other one. I don't watch them, so I don't know, okay? So, but my life is more interesting with stuff like this. Now let me skip to one last episode of this story. Of course, we got a lot of recognition. We get a lot of talks. We used to do jugalbandis. The doctor would talk about the medical side. I will talk about the engineering side. I had a talk in December 30th in Bombay, YROC, which is a Western India Regional Orthopedic Conference. I had 1,500 doctors standing in a hall like this. I told this story and I had a standing ovation. First time an engineer is giving a talk in an orthopedic conference and gets a standing ovation. That was very satisfying as a teacher. Okay, and we gave the last one of the joints to Dr. R. Chidambaram, who had funded the project as a principal scientific advisor. And at that point, this is still skipping. At that point, Manish made a statement. He said, I want to use Indian products or Indian joints, not because they are cheap, but because they are the best. Not only we create frugal healthcare, we also create quality healthcare. And that's a good slogan for all of us. And I think this is a point of time in history of the world that world is looking up to India. I mean, you look at Africa, look at Middle East, you look at Southeast Asia, even Europe and Far East, and I would say even USA. They're looking up to India to show the way forward. We're talking about 4 themes here, right? All of that is actually health. Health of the people, health of the plants, which is agriculture, health of the planet, which is, of course, environmental sustainability. So end of the day, health is a good theme. I want to say one extra point here, and that kind of touches some of the points other speakers have talked about. See, we all worry about the education of the students and employment ready and all that. I like your statement, we have to prepare them for profession, not necessarily for a degree based to profession based. All those are very good points. And of course, for you it is a word, but for us it is one word is a whole philosophy of how do we approach education, things like that. So let me give a few touch points. And one of the touch points I want to say is, if you want to build a curriculum or a education system or an innovation entrepreneurship system in campuses like that. By the way, I'm very happy to know that NIT and NITE have 3 letters in common. So there's no, I am totally with you when you say that we all are in it together. There is no question of, in fact, I would be very happy if you file, let us say 10% patents or license, I can go tell the NIT, hey, look at, and NITE is doing 10%, you guys are doing only 2%. Let us do that. And I'm sure there's something which we are doing better. So a little bit of competition is good, but also we should share the best practices. I believe that there is nothing secretive about it. And from you, I'm telling you right now, any process, any aspect of NIT that you want, if I have access to information, you can assume it is access to you. No discussion there. And I hope a similar thing can happen there. And we will build a regional coalition. So many things which has been said, I am for it. I think we should bring all those 10, 12 medical colleges together. We should bring all the engineering colleges together. I have in my mind to say that we should have a conclave of all the vice chancellors / directors of the institutions. Let's put a date and let's move forward onto that. I think let's discuss, keep it half a day, 1 day aside, and let's look at all our common issues and let's see how we can go together. Okay, so coming back to healthcare. It's a big industry. I think it has been said, I will not repeat. I'll repeat only one point here. India spends, the per capita expenditure on healthcare in India is about 1% of that of USA, from where we import most of the devices. So even if you give 90% concession or rebate to the devices, it is not affordable to most of our population. So we got to create our own version of frugal yet high quality healthcare. Okay. Now okay, it's good that it skipped, so I'll go to this slide. This is a very important slide which has been used in Niti Aayog also, about what it takes to take an idea from idea to impact. Okay, there are several values of death we speak about. The first value of death is in the research lab itself. We just do some concept, but you don't create a proof of concept. So do that first. The next step is to take a proof of concept to prototype, create actually functional prototype, one piece which works and you can demonstrate that. Then you take it to a product. Product means what? You can actually make a batch of 5, 10, 15 pieces and you can give it for testing or actually using in this thing. And then finally you create a business to create a mass production and so on and so forth. Now in all the 4 valleys of death, the third valley of death where you can see a skeleton floating or sinking is where you have the classical divide between academia and industry. I remember long back, sir, my father bought a premier president in 1973, and from Odisha we went to Bihar to UP. I remember that travel very well, around 1980 or so. I was still a kid, so my father used to drive, very adventurous person. And at that point there was no Google Maps and things like that, so there were only those physical maps. So physical map showed and you're following the road, right? I mean, and around 5 p.m. we reached the Bihar-UP border. And on the map it shows there's a road. But on the reality, the road is here, road is there, in between there's a river. The map did not show a river. Map was continuous line. Okay, we have to take a decision there. Bihar to UP, how do you cross? Fortunately, it was summer period, so we all unloaded all the luggage. We put some sand and stones and all that on the river. My father was still brave. He drove to the other side and we came out. And later on, by the time we reached Renukut, which was in UP, my father's brother was there. He said, you drove, midnight it was when you reached. You are crazy. This whole jungle is full of dacoits and things like that, you know. So anyway, I think I inherited something from my father, I think. But why I said at this point of time is, the ideas going from academia to institute to industry is like that road between Bihar and UP. Maybe now there is a lot of roads, thanks to a lot of good chief ministers of Bihar and UP. I don't want to criticize anyone here. But until the industry academia shake hands and build the bridge to take a research prototype into a commercially viable product, it is not going to happen. Okay, so this is one part of the story, and let's see if I can tell a little bit of examples of a lab that we had in IIT Bombay before I took this charge. A humble shed, what you can see, but this has been a shed where hundreds of doctors, top doctors, including those who treated movie actors and sports people, and of course even Prime Minister Vajpayee, he had come here, and we have had very beautiful conversations for that. We started saying we will have a place where doctors, engineers can meet, but eventually we started doing a lot of good stuff. Inside there are standard classical systems for 3D printing and prototyping, metal prototyping, electronics. I'm sure your incubator has all these things. We even had a gait lab to look at the gait. And gait, by the way, is an indicator of even neurological disorders, not just musculoskeletal disorders. Hey, how many of people understand medical language here? All engineers, is it? No engineering, no medical. Next time we should get resident doctors and doctors also. No, I'm looking at that crowd, that side, madam. Okay, so I can impress them with a lot of medical languages. They will find fault, but you will not find fault. No, I do both sides. I can play both sides. Okay, so this is one story which you saw in the first picture, first slide. So what we did was we used to do hackathons. And hackathons means where doctors, engineers will sit together. We'll give a problem to them on day 1. And it used to be a 4 days, 5 days hackathon. No one sleeps for 5 days, on 5 nights. And the 5th day they had to present actual prototype of the problem solved along with a business plan of the whole thing. It is very intensive thing, very, very intensive. But these 3 people joined hands on the first day. They never saw each other. One doctor, rural hospital doctor, by the way, and then one L&T engineer and one Intel engineer. 3 kinds of people. And the doctor said that when I put a stethoscope on the chest of a patient and I look at the breathing sound or the heart sound, it's called as auscultation or palpitation, let us put it that way. And I hear a sound which I have never heard in my practice. Usually rural doctors are young doctors and they don't get enough patients, so they don't get enough experience and practice fast, unlike a big city a government hospital. So he says that when I put a stethoscope to the chest of a patient, I do not know if it's critical or not, but I have to take a decision. Should I send the patient to city for a second opinion or not? And the doctor says, instead of sending the patient to city for a second opinion, can I send the sound of the patient's chest to the city? So that's the problem he defined like that. So these guys sat together for next 3 nights, 4 nights and created a stethoscope. They took a normal stethoscope, made it into analog to digital, from there to computer internet to speakers in the room, and during presentation they put a stethoscope and then we could all hear the heartbeat on the speakers. Then they went back to their jobs. After 6 months they called me and saying, sir, life is not interesting. Can we somehow come to your lab and IIT and work on this project and take the stethoscope to market? I'm waiting for the phone call. I don't like to push people. I'm waiting for people to come and ask me. So I said, yes, come over. And over the next 3 years, they created the product. They won one of the biggest awards in the country, which is called as a Biotechnology Ignition Grant, big grant, BIG grant, 50 lakh rupees, okay? They won the grant, started a company called IU Devices, okay? We'll talk about that later. And then today, of course, it's a success story. But in the whole process, I learned, they learned, how do you go and create an innovation, okay? The previous slide talks about from a POC to prototype to product to practice, okay? Which is clinical practice. So we have a long process. I will not talk about that here. It's about 4 stages, and each stage has 8 steps. I teach that over a semester, 40 hours lectures. Obviously, we will not talk about that here, but then it goes all the way from defining a problem to actually creating a success story in the market. Now, that's also called as TRL. So what we also do is, instead of a process only, we put a pipeline also. It happened that I met Dr. Anil Kakodkar. I don't know if you know his name. He, along with Abdul Kalam, had created the second nuclear bomb. And they said that you are creating one product in 15 years is, okay, what is the big difference? Can you put a system in place by which you can create 10 startups, 15 startups products per year, every year? So we created a system by which we have done a hackathon, where we bring doctors, engineers together. We pick the best people out of that. Then we create a camp, which is medical device innovation camp. Pick the best people out of that, bring them as fellows to the lab, okay. And then 1 year fellowship, file a patent, exhibit your product in exhibition, so you can meet doctors and investors and partners and so on. And then you cross the dotted line and incubate a company. Okay. And then of course you do a scale up. You have to do investments and all those things. We have an issue in India about getting large monies. You need about 2 to 5 crores to start a factory, hire people and things like that. That is a little tough, but we are now breaking that problem also. Some pictures of our hackathons. We have done it in all over mostly Maharashtra, because that's where I was there, but in small towns, Kolhapur, Wardha, Pune and other places like that. And in the front row you will see all the ties, which are doctors. So doctors give a problem. Doctors also explain what the problem is all about, and in the final day when they present the prototype, doctors also come and see whether the solution is feasible. And then if they're interested, they can guide further development. This I call is my commando team at IIT Bombay, and they are coming from all disciplines, from mechanical, from design, from industrial design, from electronics, from software, materials, quality, okay, manufacturing. And many of them, if you see from faces, they are actually fairly senior. Many of them, in fact, more than half of them were working in industry. They got passionate, attended a hackathon. They said, this is not, my job is not interesting, I will do this. Resigned from the jobs, came at half salary, 1/3 salary to our labs, and then created a success story. These are what you call as the happy pictures. Every picture has one doctor, one engineer, and in some pictures you will see a patient also. Are you able to see from the last rows? You see in the middle, for example, there is a baby, right? That is a problem of club foot. Babies born with a inward feet, it has to be corrected by a series of, you can say, by putting different plasters until it is fixed. And it has to be done at a very young age. The issue was that parents would not like to see the baby in plaster. They would feel bad. They would not put the plaster properly, or there is a brace. They would not put the brace properly. And what happens is, if you don't fix it early age, it cannot be fixed later on. So we create a smart brace which will tell the doctors, did the parents put the brace properly for the right time, for the right angle, for the right duration, and things like that. And the moment we did that, and the very first batch of 100 babies which we tried, instead of 75% failures, it was like 95% success, that the correction happened. And we got an award for that also, and so on. And many other stories. And of course, we also had a chance to exhibit in many more than 35-40 exhibitions inside IIT, outside IIT, government. We had a health minister coming. Third time health minister said, so what is new this time? I mean, for a health minister to recognize that our lab is doing something interesting is nice. And when Modi ji had come to IIT Bombay, we had a special exhibition for him, and he was very happy. I've written a book on medical device innovation. He was very happy to autograph that. Interestingly, I had left the book on my table in my office. Some visitor came and saw this Modi ji signature. Why are you keeping the book on the table? I said, okay. No, keep it locked up inside the cupboard with your wife's jewelry. You know, it's very valuable signature. I said, okay, we'll put that. Now, so these are some of the devices which you have done. Okay, you can see head to toe. Most of them are screening devices because prevention is better than cure any day. Whether it comes to human health or planet health, I think prevention is better than cure. But unfortunately, what happens is we are all lazy people. Until it hits us very hard, we don't take action. Whether it is our own health or planet health, we don't take action. We are already in trouble in both cases. Okay, but we are not taking care. But I think it's a question of training and discourse and maybe making it part of our life that perhaps we can do these things. But head to toe, you can see glaucoma screening. We have diabetic foot screening. We have literally a lot of treatment devices, surgical instruments. All those things are there. Initially, I was very shy and I said, no, let's not go into newspapers. But then I realized that going to newspapers has its own value. People should know the success stories because that inspires many more people. And for those people who are doing these success stories, for them they get a market, they get a partner, they get some customers. So either way, going into news is very important. And so again, we have hundreds of news and TV and channels, social media and all that. I'm not even putting all of that. But that success story of the stethoscope, for your information, from a hackathon, they went all the way to rural camps. Okay, they went into Shark Tank season 2, raised I think crore rupees, and 10,000 units sold. I think more than 10,000 will be crossing this year, and they are now a Harvard business case review. Okay, so if you go to Harvard and pay 2 crores and go for management there, they might ask you to study our case study. Okay, all right, all right. So I think maybe the first case study, I remember in Shark Tank someone was saying Aman Gupta said his case study is in Harvard, but I think ours is before Aman Gupta, I think. Anyway, we don't show off too much, okay? That's not the point. But there's another story. I wish I had time to tell you this beautiful story. Let me see if I can tell you this. This is, people ask me, what is the secret of your success, your energy levels? Like I would have to ask you this question to you also. But my success or my energy secret is Anish Khan. Okay, Anish Khan is a physically handicapped person. He's physically handicapped, socially handicapped, academically handicapped. He is 10th pass and 10th pass, 12th fail. And did I say physically, academically, socially, economically handicapped? 1 meal a day person. But he would go to cycle repair shops and saying, I want something to walk properly. What the government gave, he can walk only like this because you can't put load on the polio leg. He had a polio leg. You can't put the load, he will buckle and fall down. So he had a brace by which you have to walk like this. He said, can I make a device where I put the load, it should lock. The moment I remove the load, it should just collapse. With this, he has no engineering background. With this, he is going to cycle repair shops, welding shops, trying to figure out something. Again, a long story short, he finally got in touch with us. I got him to IIT Bombay. His wife also has polio. They both developed a brace, a walking, you can say knee, ankle, foot orthosis, also called as calipers. You can say smart calipers. What is happening now? It will jump again. And believe me, one fine day he sends me a picture of with Nandan Nilikeni and Sudha Murthy. I don't have photographs with them. Okay, he has. So he has won that BIG grant of 50 lakh rupees. He started a company. In the pandemic, he started a factory in his own village, gave jobs to other handicapped people and poor people like him. And he's now started, just last month he sent a message, sir, we are in the market, our base is now selling. The best part of the story is one fine day he comes and says, sir, I have decided to change my name. His name is Anish Khan, right? A-N-I-S-H, Anish Khan. He says, I decided to change my name. I said, kya socha hai? You know, he's a UP person. Sir, from Anish Khan to Anish, A-N-E-S-H, Anish, karma. I said, karma kya hota hai? He said, sir, karm karna hai mujhe. Karm karna hai, isko, I don't want to take this brace to all the, because polio is eradicated, but there are 1 million people who still have a problem with the walking. So I want to help all those 1 million people. And when the company was starting, he said, sir, company ka naam, what should I keep? I said, what are your options? I never give answers to my student. I said, tell me what are your options. So he said a few options. I said, what is your best option? He said, my best option is Amish Tech, A-U-M-E-S-H, Amish Tech. I always like to rag my students. So I said, what is this Amish Tech? He said, sir, Om, you know, Om, universal power. So for me, this is inspiration. What he could do with a 4-ways handicap, if he could do, take an idea to market, come on, all of us are far, far more qualified than that, right? You agree with me? So four quick my own criteria for success story in healthcare. In fact, not only healthcare, in any domain of innovation. Number one, make sure there is a market for your whatever you're talking about. Most of the startups fail because they love the idea, but finally market does not love the idea. And the customers want to buy it, right? Finally they have to buy it. So you have to first make sure that there is a customer need, significant customer need, and not 5 customers, ideally 5 million or 5 crore, even or 5 billion, even better. Okay. Second is that you have to make sure that don't say I'll improve something existing market by 5-10%. It is useless. 5 to 10 times aim for that, because by the time you reach the market, maybe it will be 5-10% better. Okay, and then make sure that you are able to actually deliver it. If you create, say that I'm going to have a system to pluck satellites from the space to make space for new satellites. Yeah, great idea. But do you have the whole system to do that in the next 5 years? But dream big. People are doing that. Agricul in Bangalore is a great example of a bunch of people like you who have started now a space company. They're getting millions of dollars of valuation. Okay, so realization capability. But finally, the most important thing, why is it jumping? Sorry. Most important thing is, do you have a team which is committed? In medical domain, we tell the doctors who come to our lab saying, Professor Ravi, I tell you, we can do it at 1/10 the cost of this product in India. I say, sir, we will do it, but will you come to lab every week for 1 hour? Will you use the device once you do it in the market? If the doctors are not committed, why should we waste our time onto that? Of course, doesn't have to come to the lab. I say, we will come to your office, but 1 hour per week, if you give us, then we'll take you to market. Within 1 to 2 years, it's possible to now create a new medical device and get it into the market. We have done it multiple times. So that's the story, and let me see what else I want to say. One is the perception of quality. The designer thinks a great design is quality. A material guy will think separately, and then what the design guy thinks, the scientist thinks, what the marketing guy thinks. But finally, quality is in the eye of the user or customer. Just remember that when you do innovation, think about customers always. Okay, then only what if they say quality, then it's quality. If you say quality, it doesn't matter. Now let's see. Finally, I would like to say that there's a need to build the ecosystem by getting all the partners. Government is one partner in this whole game because funding and regulation comes from that. Academia, research and development happens. Industry is where you have manufacturing and marketing. And then we have, in this case, hospital, where you have the problem identification and solution validation also. Okay. We also need 4 other, sorry, it's always going back. We also need 4 other partners. You will see incubators, you will see investors, you also find NGOs. Connection with the social organizations who are in rural areas is extremely important if you want to serve the larger interest of the larger number of people. And of course, media, friends in newspapers, social media is of course very critical. So let me close by saying that in healthcare domain, involving clinicians is super critical. If you're solving a problem for the farming, involving the farmer is very important, and so on. Okay, because clinicians are the ones who are in the field, they know the problem, and they can also be involved in feedback as the product is being developed, and eventually in validating or using the product also. Engineers are good at designing, prototyping, and so on. We can be involved in preclinical testing and so on. But engineers are good at that. Engineers should not do surgery. Surgeons should not do engineering is the lesson we all learned by hard practice, okay, by hard examples. Finally, collaboration when it comes to, I feel, and I just said, I think this region of India is really rich in terms of healthcare. And also I would like to say, I had said today morning I had a series of tweets from my own group saying that how NIT can build a tourism ecosystem in the region. A lot of jobs can come out of tourism. Health tourism, medical tourism, of course spiritual tourism, adventure tourism, and we have sea here, sea, ocean tourism. I think we are sitting on a gold mine here if we only get our act together. And it requires, technology is required in all tourism also. You will think, what is that engineering in tourism? Let's create a branch called tourism engineering if you want. Okay? I'm just telling you. We have got to think bold, okay? We have to think bold and we have to see what to do. So we can look at regional coalition of our institutions. I am all for it, okay? And we should look at joint projects, faculty exchange, joint projects, joint conferences, joint intellectual property rights, patent filing, and of course joint commercialization also. Most faculty think that if they have published a paper, their job is over. Then you say, no, you should do a little bit more. Then they will file a patent, and then they sit quiet and think the job is over. It is not so. Like the river bridge I talked about, it's the faculty or engineering faculty who take the initiative to build the bridge, go to the industry side also. Okay, industry is very busy. They can't take so much risk. Okay, we have to take the risk and we have to build the thing. Then if you show it, and we keep talking about know why is science, know how is engineering, but we also have to show how to industry, how to build the product. Then we can take it to market. Success stories. Okay, so I'll stop here. I got to run now. I'm so sorry. I would have liked to take some questions, but if I do, then I'll miss the flight. And there is an event in Bangalore at 6 o'clock that I have to attend. Okay. But assuming someone can hold up the plane, I'll take 2 questions. 2 comments, questions, quick one, I don't mind. Any quick questions, comments? Was I audible at the end also? No problems? Sorry, I rushed a little bit, but I hope it was interesting. I would have loved to actually sit through the next session where you have Forest Healthcare and others. It's going to be a lovely discussion. I'm really jealous of you that I am missing and you are going to be there in that. And I would have loved to be in sustainability also, because I think there's a lot to learn for all of us in that domain. But I look forward to more inputs from all of you.
Hello,
sir,
sir.
go ahead.
It was a great session. Sir, I'm Sujay from Inaugural Institute of Technology. Okay. We are doing some projects on biomedical devices, but the thing, many inputs we get, like many certifications will be there, that will make it difficult to take it to the market. So,
sir, the same question was asked last week in IIT Hyderabad in the healthcare conclave, and everyone said that regulation is a major bottleneck in healthcare innovation. I'm saying no. Okay, let me just counter that fact. What he's saying is that healthcare products you can't take it to market unless you go through series of preclinical tests and trials, safety trials, mechanical safety, electrical safety, biological safety. Then you do preclinical trials, then you do basically pilot clinical trials, meaning that you try it on some limited patients, larger number of patients. Then government will, for all the things you take permission from government, and finally government will give permission to actually do mass production and marketing. That's what he's talking about. So there is no issue in that at all. First of all, let us remember that regulation is important for the safety of the patients. No discussion on that. You don't want to put an unsafe product in the market. Now, there are days when I have taken, or my team has taken, 4 files. Files means each file is a permission for a new device. We have done about 250 devices, filed about 67 patents now, and we have licensed about 35 we have licensed. I don't think this ratio you'll find even in MIT, Stanford. Patents license is single digits even in MIT and Stanford. I was very happy to hear that India is 3%, not bad. India as a whole is 3%, is not bad. But individually, like NITE and NIT, we should push it to as much as possible. I have shown it is possible to license 50-55% of these things. But the issue with that regulation is that when you, so we have taken 4 files in the morning, and by afternoon they have cleared 3 permissions. And 1 more file they said we'll clear it next week also. Why? Because in our lab we implemented the very rigorous procedures for everything that we do. It is called as a ISO 13485. It is an international standard for quality systems for medical devices. And similarly there is for sustainability and so on. Our campuses, we should look into the sustainability standards also for that. If you do that, sir, what happens is a lot of best practices get automatically in the procedure of the lab itself. I can take a new person in my lab and he's productive within 1 week. Because there is a form for, if a doctor comes to a lab and saying, I have a problem, we say, fill up this form. And the form is signed by the doctor and by engineer and so on and so forth. So if you standardize the procedures, SOPs, and you also make it into a quality standard, sir, it's like goes like a beautiful, no issues at all. Okay? That's the most important question you asked actually in medical devices. Thank you for that. Okay, I wish you all the best. I'm really sorry I have to leave, but I promise I'll be back, or I'll get you back into NIT at some point of time. I'll connect with you guys and also teachers. The medical teachers are from Nitte family, Kshema, yes, sir. And then speaker was there from Manipal, I thought. So we'll see. Good luck to all of you, and thank you for that.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your wonderful journey in the field of healthcare. It was indeed a great pleasure to have you with us here today. I now request our Vice Chancellor, Nitte deemed to be University, to hand over a memento to Dr. B. Ravi as a token of gratitude and appreciation.
My pleasure and privilege.
We'll be starting our first panel discussion under the stream Healthcare in a short time. Please stay back. Dear participants, please note that the QR code for attendance is displayed. You can mark your attendance using the same QR code. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back everyone to the panel discussion where ideas converge, insights flourish and dialogue sparks innovation. Before we dwell into the heart of our discussion, I would like to request our distinguished moderator, Dr. Narendra K.C. from Department of ECE to escort our esteemed panelist and observer onto the dais. Thank you, sir. I now request Mrs. Shankari from Department of ECE to introduce our panelists to this gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to introduce our esteemed panelist, Dr. Shyama Vasudev Rao. Dr. Shyam is the founder and director of Forest Health Private Limited, Bangalore. He did his engineering and master's in electronics from SJCE Mysore University. His first innovation was a hardware antivirus solution called NoxGuard. He co-invented this in 1989 and this led to a startup called Noxware. Working as a director of technology in Philips Innovation Campus, Bangalore, he established the innovation framework for consumer electronics and medical system division. He has won several awards. His innovation, Trinetra, an all-in-one eye screening device at Forus, has won several laurels like DST Locked Martin Gold Medal, Perimal Award, Sankalp Award, CNBC TV 18 Award, Samsung Innovation Quotient Award, NASCOM Innovation Award, etc. In 2013, he started Rinalix Health Systems, which developed technologies for stato and kidney care. At Rinalix, he developed the first of its kind smart and connected hemodialysis machine. He has published more than 40 technical papers and filed more than 25 international patents with 5 US patent grants. I warmly welcome you, sir, to this event. It's an honor to introduce our one more panelist, Mr. Sarin Chandran P. Driven by passion for product engineering, Mr. Sarin currently holds the position of Head of Hardware Development at the BTL India R&D Center. Mr. Sarin holds a bachelor degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Kannur University and masters in biomedical engineering from Manipal Institute of Technology. For the past 8+ years, he has been an integral part of the BTL team. Preceding his tenure at BTL, he has contributed 8 years to new product development at GE Healthcare. With more than 16 years of expertise in hardware and system design, his experience is rooted in the research and development of medical devices, spanning diagnostics, electrocardiographs, physiotherapy devices, and wearable ECG and BPMs for the global market. I, on behalf of organizing committee, extend a warm welcome to you, sir. We have with us one of the panelists, Dr. Kirtana Prasad. Dr. Kirtana Prasad is currently working as the Director of Manipal School of Information Sciences, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. She was the principal investigator of the AI-based cervical cancer screening approach that was developed as a part of CamTech Innovation Award, which won $50,000 funded by USAID. She has been instrumental in developing a tool for evaluation of bone mineral density named BMD Scan, which won the Rural Innovation Award from the Microsoft. She has also worked on automation of malaria parasites detection using image analysis, for which she has received IDF Innovation Award. Dr. Kirtana has to her credit 4 patents granted and 6 patents applications pending for examination. She has published around 70 research papers in indexed international journals and has H-index of 20. I once again welcome Dr. Kirtana Prasad for being with us as a panel member. Another panelist for today's session is Mr. Sijo Chako. Mr. Sijo Chako obtained his bachelor's degree in radiography, radiologic technology science from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka in 2005. He has 18 years of experience in city domain. He worked as a city technologist, tutor, clinical application specialist, clinical validation lead, clinical expert, and clinical science specialist. I warmly welcome you, sir, for this panel discussion. We have with us Dr. Aditi K., Associate Professor and Unit Head, Department of General Medicine, Kshema, NITTE DU, as an observer for today's panel discussion. Dr. Aditi K. completed her MBBS degree from KMC Mangalore and MD in General Medicine from KSAICTE Medical Academy, Delkatte, Mangalore. She has published more than 6 research papers in various journals. Her ongoing projects are role of supplementation of vitamin D in treatment course and recovery of pulmonary tuberculosis, and clinical and laboratory profile of scrub typhus as a cause of febrile illness and utility of rapid diagnostic test in its diagnosis. With this introduction, I welcome you to the session, ma'am. Welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. So without further delay, let's dive into our panel discussion and explore the topics that matter most to our industry and community. Together, let's embark on the journey of discovery, collaboration, and meaningful exchange. Over to moderator, Dr. Narendra K.C. Dear participants, for your information, this panel discussion is streaming live in our NMMIT YouTube channel.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all of you, and good afternoon to all the panelists who have accepted this our invitation in spite of their busy schedule. And I was preparing for this discussion sometime later, and they were very kind enough to be the panelists, and we had several meetings before, and so that we can agree and disagree and debate and discuss on more issues. So what is life without health? So if there is money, if there is education, if all the things are there, still the unsolved mystery for mankind is health. So if there are some problems, there are doctors who can treat, but we are not very foolproof as to what will happen if, the most important thing would be health again. I think all of you agree on this, and all of the panelists also agree on this. So we now are here to discuss some part of the healthcare, that is the technology part of the healthcare. How can technology assist? How can technology improve? And how can technology aid in clinicians and patients and making lives better? So we are very fortunate to have all the learned panelists, and with the brief introduction which was provided, I think I'll not spend much on the introduction of the panels again. I would now request all the panelists to share their initial remarks for a couple of minutes. I think we can start with Shyam sir.
Yeah, thank you, Narendra, for the nice introduction, and I should thank NITTE for giving this opportunity. It's a very important topic what we are all hearing and discussing. We used to say that health is wealth. Okay, today, if it is not, it doesn't go together. Okay, if you are not healthy, your wealth also goes away. Okay, and then what we see is the best thing is that if you want to keep both together, then prevention is better than cure. Okay, so that way, preventive is such a thing which we have been hearing for a long time. Great grandfathers were also telling. But if you see on the ground, it's very, very little what has been done, and that is where, I've been spending a lot of my time, both in Philips as well as, after that, basically to see how we can make preventive care for ophthalmology or eye care, for kidney care, and also for foot care. So that way, that is something which we need to now deliberate and see how this can be done. And that is and this is one thing which is really a big data problem, I would say, because we cannot have so many doctors to just see all the people, the whole population, whether they are having preventive care and whether they are following the regime. So for that is where we see AI coming to us as a very big boon, and with all these culminating together, I am sure we can make health and wealth be with all of us forever. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I now request Kirtana ma'am to.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I would rather look at a different angle as an industry academia conclave. As part of that, we are here to discuss about AI in healthcare as the theme of this panel discussion. And AI needs to be into healthcare, and it should not remain artificial. It should become natural, or it should be equivalent to natural. So today we are here with I am from the academia side, representing the academia, and I probably would give an angle where I have interacted with the students, and probably that is something that gives me some learning that I can share here, and how we can make it more useful. So this Industry Academia Conclave is a very, very important activity where AI from the technology going into healthcare. So that's an interdisciplinary activity. And so the medical and the technical side, our students or the people working in this area should come together. So what are those issues that we should keep in mind as we come together to make it a success? So that is what probably is a very interesting part over here. I'm excited to be among all of you here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Sarin to share his initial thoughts.
Hello to all of you. Thank you, NMMIT, for having me here. Today, the advancement in technology is very rapid. So in our generation, we could see in every 5 years, it's taking a big leap towards advancement. So what this means for professionals is there are more and more opportunities for creating newer applications and solutions, or even improving the current products which are in healthcare system. So speaking of AI, I just want to touch base on some of our recent product. We have a series of electrocardiographs, starting from handheld device to a tabletop or even a trolley-mounted electrocardiogram ECG devices. So these devices do ECG recording, ECG printing, ECG storage, and even have a connectivity. So they do wireless and wired connectivity to a central software, which is called as a CardioPoint from BTL. And the advancement in this generation of electro ECG machine is that they are powered with a new feature called diagnosis, meaning interpretation. And this is supported with AI algorithms. So what it means to the end user or a patient is that the device itself is going to give you some diagnostic statement. So this is to an extent improving the access of specialized healthcare to remote areas, where the device is able to flag a case of a specific physiological condition. So I still believe that technology has a lot to give for healthcare. Looking forward for an engaging discussion here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarin. I now request Sijo to make his initial remarks.
Yeah. Thank you, Narendra. Thank you, Nite, for giving me an opportunity. I am from healthcare. I work for Philips Healthcare for last 17 years. And this is a good opportunity that I got it here to share my thoughts, like, how much we are investing on the research part, R&D part from the Philips side. Sir was working, Dr. Sham was working with Philips earlier, and it's a, not only Philips, Siemens, GE, Canon, the United Imaging. There are multiple companies that we work on different modalities of imaging. That is like CT scan, ultrasound, PET CT, and we have DXR, that is for X-ray, and the different imaging techniques. And the basic purpose is that we are doing an imaging, that is a CT scan or MR, to identify the issue. And that is also very important to mention that early detection is very important for making the treatment as effective like sir was mentioning, that detecting a cancer at very early stage can make the survival or like, making the life happening. And this is something related to like, how our equipment is been designed to pick up in an early stage. And this also need an expertise from the technologists and the usability as well as the design part. And now coming to the AI, how AI can help in detecting something very early stage. And the time to report, time to result. In India, we have scarcity for like, getting the treatment in a right time. Even somebody got a stroke, only the very affordable people are reaching in that first window period of 6 hours into a CT scanner and understanding there is a problem that can be treated either by an interventional procedure or by a medication. But rest of the people are getting paralyzed or like, they are getting some problem that need to live with that consequence. So anything that we are treating at an early stage, we are picking and treating, making their lives better. So this is what like any company, Philips, GE or Siemens are doing, putting AI, putting the R&D efforts, all those to pick up early and giving a better patient life care. Yeah, it's very thanking for the opportunity again.
Yeah, thank you. So now I would like to ask Shyam sir, one of the questions that come into picture is how relevant is the culmination of various branches of engineering, like material engineering, electronics engineering, mechanical engineering. Do you think that they should be treated as different branches or different school of thoughts when medical devices are made?
Yeah, it's only in engineering, we try to separate them, as mechanical, electrical, civil and all that. But if you see the other side, the medical side, they don't treat all that as separate things. It's all one for them. So if you see a human system, it's one of the most complex system. And if you have to do something around it, you need multiple, expertise from all these things. Like for example, I make these dialysis machines, which is very much, a need in this country. And for several years, we have not been in a position to have anyone make that. It's not only in India, but also, across the globe, if you see, there are only 3 countries who make this sort of equipment: Germans, Japanese, and US. So we said, can we not do that in India? And we started doing it. So the first thing, what we found was that we need chemical engineers, we need people with hydraulics experience or and then we also have people, with embedded system capabilities. We need mechanical designers, everything, So there is a whole lot of things which has to be put together. And also we needed a structural person because, we need, this is a very big system. It is not a small portable or something. So it's a large system. So we need the frame to be properly designed. So that way, if you see, when we are talking about anything like medical device or any of these things, it's a highly multidisciplinary activity. And I'm talking about only the engineering part of it, but also there is medical things. So we need not just a nephrologist, we need cardiologist, we need GPs. So all these people are involved in this care cycle. So that way it's a highly multidisciplinary activity.
Thanks for those thoughts, sir. Now, when something is when you're developing a system or when you're choosing a component, I mean this question is to Sarin, when you're choosing a component for a system, how much importance do you give to the cost and performance? Because most likely that if a device is highly performing, it would be costly, and if the device is cheap, there is again a question mark about its performance. So how do you choose a device for this?
It's a tough question and a tough decision, being a product engineer, because every product, every component which goes into a device has a role to play. So how do we know whether this component is going to do a major role or is it going to do a nice to have feature? So what we do or practice is the features of the product we categorize into have, must to have, nice to have, or good to have. So what it means is there are certain parameters where we cannot compromise. That really matters for the efficacy of the product, some of the specification of the product. So there we cannot do any compromise, even some amount of safety. It could be electrical safety, mechanical safety. So there, or it could be a material, like biocompatibility of a material. So certain areas we cannot trade off for the cost. That is one part of it. And there are some other area which could be a nice to have. It could be, for example, a usability case. We have a device which need to do a data transfer. So it could be wired or wireless. Wired is a cheaper mode of solution, but wireless involves its own cost to it, not only at the development phase, certification phase, and the product cost. So based on the feature, what the component is giving, what is the value addition the component is giving to the overall product, we have to take a judicious decision based on like a cost versus benefit analysis and then take out of it. This is my take on that point.
Yeah, thank you. Ma'am, now because you are from academia, now, and we also have students and teachers who teach and learn engineering. How crucial is the mathematical fundamental for application of AI?
Yeah, mathematical foundations play a very important role when we design and develop a model. However, I would rather look at it from my experience. I look at it in two ways. Especially when we talk about AI models, everything is very new and very advanced, and there are a lot of students probably would have come out with a paper or come out with a project exhibitions, results and all that with the, some prizes and other things with no background about, no understanding about what is happening internally at all. So, but that should not, that should not be impacting, giving you an impression that it is fine. However, it is about the trade-off between whether you want something rapidly or whether you want to do it, in a slow pace but perfectly. So I would rather say I have seen many students, many people presenting their models and say this is 99% accurate, 100%, or very good performance. But are you able to prove it? Do you think, are you able to generalize it? And that is where the whole, otherwise whatever you have developed is useless. Another important aspect that I would rather say is that if you put your heart into your project and you consider your project not just as a degree achieving activity, but it is for yourselves or your passion, you look at it as that, success will naturally come to you, score will naturally come to you, marks you will definitely get. So it's important that whatever that you're developing should be right. Now, you have these two approaches. Either it is with the mathematical fundamental knowledge, but some of you may not be having that time or may not be having that capacity to understand all that in detail. So, but both these have roles. Those who are not able to really get into that detail still go ahead with all these AI models, just drag and drop and pick the APIs and do it. But then you visualize it, make sure it is right, go for nested cross validations and make sure whatever that you have developed is the right thing. And that is also possible as a compromise and something that is rapid, but otherwise it is important that you need to know about what is it that that particular thing is meant to be, particular API. For example, if you have done classification or something like that with using AI, for a multi-class classification, what you should use as a loss function, or for the binary classification. There are many times I see students doing just like that, taking any loss function, and you want to innovate something, change one to the other and say this is innovating. But that is not what the case is. So what should be applied when it is this suitable or not? Is binary cross entropy suitable or not? Is focal loss useful or not? Is that to be used in this particular situation? At least that is something that you should look at. But if you have the mathematical fundamentals clear, then there is more possibility that you innovate and do something really new and good.
Thank you, ma'am. So I want to hear the contrary view from Sijo. How often do you think that whatever you learned somewhere in your undergrad, or how often do you think that you want to go back and then you want to see the textbooks, because you are there in industry for around 17 years now?
Good question, Narendra. Like, maybe what I would like to say, like, people when come with fresh thoughts and other things, sometimes what happens is that it is mostly purely an engineering side. We have 5,000 employees in PIC Bangalore Innovation Campus, and the feature and other things, they get an idea that like what requirement they need to fulfill with an design. But most of the time they lack in the clinical domain in a way that like, for example, we are developing something for a CT scanner. I specifically look into CT scanner, and they may not be knowing what is the clinical intention or the final output as a radiologist or as a technologist finally look into. But they do develop and they make a prototype, and like, finally when we get into the product, if it is not been very well designed in a way that like as a radiologist demanding, there is a problem. So what we try to do is that we encourage them to do a Gemba walk. Gemba walk is like visiting the hospitals and radiologists. For example, if it is a cardiac solution, they should visit minimum 10 or 15 cardiac sites where they really do cardiac scans and they understand the clinical, the pain points, which is important. So there is always like, when we do develop, there is a lacking of clinical knowledge for the development side. We do a lot of domain strengthening training, but it may not be completely meeting to get all the people into that training program. So this is important. When your students are here, I encourage like, somebody is really looking into healthcare as a prospect, they should start visiting the hospital or like Philips or G or Siemens R&D centers and many places, so they get some insights and real intention for what purpose we are making that product. That is important.
So I think by the end of the discussion, you may also add the links, like how to, sure, what would be the procedure to get there. Because most of the times what happens is most of the students who, and also faculty here, we have ideas, we don't know where it is being validated, we don't have someone who can say, okay, this is not work. So we don't get to see the contrary viewpoints, or we don't see elimination criteria. And most of the examinations would be like, okay, there is some work which is there, which is incremental innovation or improvement in the performance, and then we just get into it. So I think you made a valid point saying that we need to get to the actual links where we should see whether it is working as a product or not.
Right.
Yeah. Now because now what I feel is there is Internet of Things which is coming up, and this Internet of Things actually has taken over in most of the embedded systems which was earlier called. How much of Internet of Things would be used in medical devices, Shyam sir?
See, IoT or IOMT as we say today, it's an Internet of Medical Things. This is basically a connectivity solution, and the whole system today is a connected system. So we want to see how patients can be monitored remotely, how you can monitor elderly people while they are alone at home. Everything this the whole thing happens only when these sensors are talking to your cloud basically, and that is what we call it as IoT. And I see that there are a lot of regulatory issues around it, but they are all getting resolved, and we have medical device profiles available today on Bluetooth or low power Bluetooth and all that. And with that, we will be in a position to now get more and more systems connected. And power management is another very important aspect here in Internet of Things. That is where we couldn't in the past, even though these ideas were there, the concepts were there, we couldn't do much. We in Philips, we got that, for our consumer electronics devices. We had the connected planet concept, and everything in the house would be connected, and you could port that the entire audio or video, whatever you are seeing, from one place to another along with you. That sort of very seamless connectivity we could do, because they are all fixed. Whereas in case of a human, this one, there is it's a highly mobile system, and that's where we need to see how these things will emerge. And with going forward now, we did way back in 2010 when we did our device, that is Forus Health. Our device was the first in the world to be IoT enabled. So that was the USP of our device, and that's how we could reach every nook and corner of the country, and also we could go around. Even in the Western world, we have had a lot of success. So the same concept we are now seeing, with dialysis machines, artificial liver, and so many of these things what I'm doing. And there is also a big upbeat, even in Philips now, everything is connected. Okay. So that's a big opportunity.
This is for the information of the audience. I think the QR code is there on the screen. If you want to ask any questions, you can scan the QR code. That's linked to a Google form, and I can see the responses here. Yeah, please.
Yeah, just adding to what doctor said, now everything is like we want the faster result, faster report. So this is, as I said, it is actually making the treatment fast as possible and making the better life. We have the cloud mechanism. The cloud is where the people investing, all the companies are investing money. So earlier it was like when you do an imaging, whether it is a CT or MR or any scan, after the scan, there is a time that a technologist or somebody is post-processing something and sending to PACS or reading station, where the radiologist is seeing the image and reporting, reviewing the image and reporting. Now this is getting faster with the cloud solutions in a way that when you do a completion of a scan, after completing the scan, the data is going to a cloud, which may be sitting the server may be sitting in Netherlands or Germany or France, and there are some pre-processing tools so that this data is already getting processed and then it is coming back to the scanner. So it has a process that the data need to be de-identified, and then when it comes back it should be re-identified. So it is a process, and the data may be maybe a size data that need to go and come back. All these things takes time, but still what I tried to say is that after a cardiac angio for heart, then when we want to really post-process to see in which vessel there is a stenosis or there is a block, there is a problem, hardly it needs some expertise, it needs some post-processing, it needs some tools and somebody to sit and work for 20 minutes and then making all these images, and then it goes to a radiologist to read. But now once the scan is done, this can go to a cloud solution and come back within 1 minute, so that the radiologist can actually read within the second or third minute after the scan. That is the way how people are looking, so that the patient is getting utmost better care. That is a thing.
And we heard Dr. Ravi speaking about regulatory things and the rules that are there and certifications that are there. So I would now request Sarin to share his thoughts on regulations and how early should someone start with the regulatory process. And second thing is there a safety regulation which is there in place for the medical devices and medical IoT, as sir was saying?
I just want to take it further from what Dr. Ravi earlier mentioned. Regulatory process is not a challenge, but it's a path which we are supposed to take mandatorily. So when we are going for a registration in any country, in India it is CDSCO, in US it is FDA, in Europe it is MDR regulation by some notifying bodies. So everybody is going to evaluate your product and see whether the product is meeting the safety and performance requirement, is it meeting the customer requirements. So this regulatory process, how it is based on, what it is based on. So Dr. Ravi mentioned about ISO 13485. That is the basic quality management standards which manufacturers are supposed to follow. This guideline defines what are the quality requirements, the procedures which the manufacturer need to follow from each development phase of the device, starting from the very early stage of prototype, getting the clinical requirement. If you remember, he mentioned doctor coming and telling the requirement and he's getting it signed. So that is a clinical requirement for you. So it starts from each phase till the product is released to market, and even subsequently also. There is something called as post-market surveillance, how we are supposed to handle the complaints from the field. So the regulatory framework is nothing but something which we need to follow very early in the process as a company. And coming to the second part of question, what are the safety standards? So this 13485 is a procedural guidance for the organization or the company. But for the product what we are going to design, there is another safety standard. It's defined from IEC. I hope you guys know what is IEC. IEC, it's the standard is 60601-1. It's the basic medical standard which governs the safety and performance of the medical product. So the regulatory body is going to assess or ask us what is the, ask the technical documentation to show that, okay, our device is complying to this IEC requirement. And subsequently, there is one more aspect of regulation, something called as a product classification. So every regulatory body have classified all the medical products based on the risk category. So in India, we have A, B, C, D, A being the lowest risk, and D being the highest risk, where D may have this pacemaker, implants, etc. So every country have this kind of risk classification of the medical product, risk-based classification. And the IEC standard asks us to do a risk-based analysis of your medical product. That's something called as, it's from ISO 14971. So where, as manufacturers, we are supposed to analyze the risk, what my medical device is going to pose in the field once it is released to market. So we are supposed to address all those risks. It could be electrical, mechanical, biocompatibility hazard. So a lot of hazards are identified, and so this guideline gives you a procedural mechanism, how we are supposed to approach it, how we are supposed to mitigate it, and when we can say that this risk is acceptable for release or not. So overall, regulation is one part, and regulatory is going to ask us about the applicable compliance to certain standards. So this is the approach what we take. And the last part of your question was when we are supposed to start looking into the standards. So I think I will take Ravi's slide. Dr. Ravi earlier mentioned about an ideation, proof of concept, then innovation, then design of the device, and then market release. So when we are in the very beginning, like we are developing something totally new, which is not available in market. So there is an engineering aspect to it. There is a technology which we are going to explore. So when we are exploring a technology, when we wanted to see that the feasibility of the technology, that this is going to serve the intended purpose, maybe that time it is more of engineering view. But once we are at a stage where we need to really test it out, we need to do some clinical study. So from that context onwards, we need to bring in the standard, that is the basic standard for the safety and performance, so that when we do the clinical study, there should not be any harm to the patient or the operator. So in summary, when we are at the verge, okay, this version of my prototype is going to go for clinical trials or going to be tried on a human being. So then we need to ensure that this is safe by all means for usage.
Yes. Yes. So one of the things that come into picture when somebody says AI is, okay, we are doing something very smart, or we are trying to imitate what humans do or how humans think, like that. And any tool for that matter, when we try to develop any technology for that matter for any clinicians, they may have their own opinion as to whether they can accept this technology or not. Is AI actually aiming to replace clinicians, or how much of AI is what AI should be? Ma'am.
I think definitely AI is not a replacement of a human expert. It should assist the human expert, and it should make sure that the human expert who can do it fast, more accurate, better in some way of some measure of performance. So that is where AI is, and probably the low skilled activity may be replaced. But it is not about the expertise. That is my take on that.
Ma'am, there is a question from the audience. I'll just put it across. Dr. Sumati is asking, in which subdomain of healthcare we have more scope for research, of more papers? Though I can guess the answer, but I want you to answer.
Yeah. So I think it's not about which subdomain of healthcare. Probably neither would I have an answer, nor would a medical professional would have an answer. I think in any area of our life, so to say, there is a possibility of using AI to help us better. As we think, when we do activities, many times I see that students come, I'm just using my experience with the students. So students come and say, I want you to give me a problem definition for my project. I say, you just think, do you have any problem in life or not? Do you have any desire in your life or not? Do you think something you want to improve? Anything from that you can start. Okay, this is where I can improve. Suppose you do not have, and your specific question about healthcare and subdomain of healthcare, I would say just talk to the healthcare professionals, find out what is their opinion, where do they feel some of their activities can be improved with some support of technology. And my experience is always a medical expert is not necessarily having an idea about where AI can be useful, where it cannot be, or AI or any technology for that matter. A healthcare professional by himself or herself may not be able to give you exactly what is it they want until and unless they know what are those technologies and in what way they could help them. So I think it requires kind of mutual discussion for some time, saying, okay, you have that problem, can we solve it this way? There is a method like this which could help you solve. And then they say, no, it's not like that. There is some more thing, they add some angle to that, okay, that is not practical. So that is how there is interaction that is required on both sides, and try to understand, okay, now where is it there is a problem, and wherever there is a problem which you can solve, there is possibility of innovation or papers or whatever. So papers, there is nothing like, in one particular subdomain there is more scope. Wherever there is a possibility of innovation, whatever is the quality of innovation, depending upon that there is scope for patents or papers.
Sir, I want you to add.
Yeah, see, I can give you a very practical example where we have been working. Say in India, we have around 270 lakh babies born every year. 270 lakh, 27 million. And out of this, 4 million, that is 40 lakh babies, are born prematurely. And these premature babies have two big problems. One is, of course, that the heart muscle won't have been fully developed. The other one is the eye. That is, they have a problem called as retinopathy of prematurity. And if it is not noticed, and if that turns to become a plus disease, the baby will lose its eyesight for the rest of the life. So it's in India, every year, we have more than around 2 lakh such babies put, into the society at birth. That is the magnitude of the problem. But then if you try to solve that, you have to screen this 40 lakh babies. Okay, 40 lakh babies you have to screen, and the ones who can take a decision, on the other hand, are only 200 pediatric ophthalmologists. There are just 200 of them for the whole country. Can you imagine? So, if you don't have a method of AI or something, it is impossible to do this. So that is where, we try to make a device called as NEO, and with that, the technicians will go to the neonatal centers, image the baby's eye within the first 3 days, because in India, if the baby is born, after 3 days, they'll discharge and they go home, right? After that, you can't trace them, the mother and child both. So they go to the field and screen the baby, and immediately this images, first level triaging is done by AI. It will see whether there is a problem or not. And if it finds any problem, it will immediately send it to the doctor on the other side, who can actually now look at it on their mobile phone and immediately say, yes, there is a problem, plus disease or not. And the entire workflow, is taken care of. So with that, today we are in a position to manage the whole thing. I will say that just 3 ophthalmologists, 3 such specialists are taking care of the entire Karnataka.
Oh.
So that is the power of AI, I would say. Okay. So it is like, how can you get more from less? That is the mantra. More from less is what we need to do.
Yes, sir. So again, we have a question from Professor Shashi Kumar Shetty to Sijo. since you are from CT domain, I need to know what are the areas that are still to be worked or that need some work and related to AI in CT. So the question is how AI is in CT now.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the question, Shashi. So we work on deploying AI tools into CTL. So let me tell you that CT scan is like, first there is a preparation of the patient, like, how you are positioning the patient to the exact ISO center of the bore that needs some exact height and like, the way how it has been positioned. And then when you do the scan, it needs to be scanned as much as low dose possible because it's a radiation that can induce like, carcinogen, like, side effects are there. So, but it has been done in a way that we want to detect something. So it is a mandatory thing to perform a CT scan. But at the same time, as low as reasonably achieved, ALARA principle is something like we want to give as much as less dose, but we should have a reportable image quality. So that means the image need to undergo a AI process where we can denoise the image and get a reportable image with a low dose. And then, as I said, that like, after the scan, we need to read this image for a reporting, whether it is a cardiac problem or a brain problem, or it is a stroke, or it is a trauma where the fracture or bleed need to be detected. So these all like, time sensitive areas where there is a stroke, cardiac arrest, the trauma cases where there is a pneumothorax, hemothorax, or the bleed in the brain or in the chest, or all these things need to be picked up early as possible to ensure a good treatment. So that scan data is a DICOM data. Say you might have seen the CT scan or MR images, it is more gray and white matter images. And like now there are techniques to extract or like segment the lobes of the, or the brain or bleed, or like, the liver. There are 8 segments and like multiple ways to segment and extract the detail, and showing in a volumetric view, or like as a surgeon how you can approach the lesion or how you can remove the bleed, that need to be post-processed. So all these post-processing are being taken care by AI. And like, like I said, that I don't need to buy all the post-processing packages like in Korea, Japan, US, like, every year there are a lot of post-processing techniques are introduced by third party, and as a Philips or GE or Siemens, we cannot have every year investing our money into developing all the post-processing tools for everything. We just need to facilitate our scanner enabling to a cloud, and then the hospital in Germany, they can buy some like, some solution from Germany. China may buy something from China approved solution. We are only facilitating in a way that after the scan, data is going to a cloud and getting the solution back. So all this manner of preparation of the patient, image reconstruction, image post-processing, and like getting the image to be read at a reporting station, in all these stages, AI is applied. And I personally work on like, 10 to 15 AI feature in last 3 years, like putting a 3D camera on the top of the patient. You might have seen that when you get into CT or MR room, somebody is there coming to with you and then putting you on the table and then operating on the gantry to put the patient to a height and then putting the patient into inside the bore. All those things are like old technique. Now a 3D camera can easily analyze like, where is your chest, where is your abdomen, where is your like, face or brain or wherever, and it automatically take to the ISO center height by default, because it has an inbuilt algorithm which is validated with all this data. So it automatically brings the table into an ISO center within the first 15 seconds. Earlier, there is a variability. If me or Shashi or somebody else doing in a department, somebody will do with an eyeballing with a laser light, and this will have some difference in the table height. When you have a difference in the table height, the dose that we are delivering to the patient will be either more or less. Depends on the height. Calibration. But now with the camera, 3D camera, with all the validated algorithm, it is every time whether me or you position the patient, it automatically take to the exact ISO center. Optimum image quality and optimum dose delivery is ensured. The variability between the inter-operator variability has been removed. That is one point. Similarly, when we go for all the image reconstruction or anything, like I said, when I have an experience, I can do a scan with less dose, but still I can produce a good image quality by manipulating the parameter so that my radiologist will not complain, saying that, Sijo, you reduce the dose, but now your images are too noisy, too grainy. I cannot report. Redo the scan. So rescan may be required with respect to the knowledge of the person who tried to do some manipulation. But now with AI tools, it can anticipate the noise before the scan, and it can apply some of the AI tools to make sure that you can reduce the dose to a level it will recommend. You can reduce the dose to get this kind of image quality, so that preview is available before the scan. That is another thing which is happening now. So all the manner in any of the emergency scans, cardiac scan, stroke, and also any of this time sensitive thing, we are investing more. That is more mandatory or more necessary, that there need more attention and more faster time to result. Okay. That is the one thing. But all other areas, we are actually investing any of the cardiac or any other domain, but time sensitive things where it may more matter, we are investing more.
Okay. So I want to put to Sarin. Now we have most of the folks who are in their undergrads, and they have computer science, electronics and allied branches. Do you see, are there any frameworks, or are there any softwares, or are there any tools that they want to equip themselves? If they are foreseeing a career in medical devices, what are the frameworks or what are the necessary skills that they should take up?
Okay. Earlier, I remember our chancellor mentioned about some interesting wording like computer science engineering, people looking into the electronics part of it, electronics engineering going to electrical. So it's like, it's not just about a particular domain. Knowing the other domain also is very much important, because then only you can be a problem solver. For a product industry, we need problem solvers. We don't, the people who are only confined to their own track, like I know I'm a computer engineer, I do software coding. But if he's not open enough to learn other areas of the product, understand other areas of the product, then the value addition what this person can bring to the whole product will be very limited. So as a product company, or what we are looking is people who can understand, you are an expert in your specific area of work, whichever domain you are, but you are open enough and you are knowledgeable in the other areas. So then only you can be a problem solver. That's what we need for product industry. And with respect to tools, I believe any tools can be acquired by any people if they have the right aptitude. So tools, knowing a specific tool is not very key here. But today morning I was discussing, Mr. Sukesh was showing what is happening in the electronics department. So they're doing PCB design. They do their own boards here. So that's something new, and which is very much important, because you are not only an electronics engineer, you are understanding the manufacturing part of it. You are understanding how somebody else is going to use this board, program the board, use it for an end application. So that holistic view is very much required to be successful in a product career.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of questions from dental sciences to Shyam sir. Is there a possibility to have some small training programs or workshops? Or how can you outreach or develop the outreach to the academic institutions?
Yeah, there are the standard one what Dr. Ravi, Professor Ravi was showing, that hackathon programs, and where we bring academia and industry together. And before the hackathon, you teach them and give them some tools. So today, as what Sharon was also telling, it's very easy, to get the this one with these tools, because they are very user friendly and they're very powerful. So that sort of sessions, jam sessions, are conducted, and we have also participated in several of them. So we would say that that's one way of bringing the academia and industry together, and conducting some sort of more interactive session rather than a training type of a thing. Okay. That's the best way.
Okay. One more. I mean, this is to you, sir, but it's most of because all three are from industry. This is open to anyone. Are investors imposing AI because it's a hot selling cake now?
See, investors are always, interested in seeing, how they can get maximum returns within a short period of time. So if there is, there is also hierarchy in investors. There is VCs, and then there are PEs, and then there are so many. So their PE, would have said that, okay, this fund I am creating for AI. So then they will go around, searching everything which is AI. It is like, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's all.
Okay. So I think there are, as of now, I'll just put the statistics which is there. We have around 12 questions which was asked by all the audience, and we have around 40% questions being directed to you, sir, and there are around 30 and all questions to other panelists also. So I think I'll be sharing the questions, and if you feel it fit, and I'll be sharing the responses also, so that if any time you can respond to them. So I think we are almost reaching 1:15. I mean, I'm a bit worried that I'm standing between the lunch and the session. So so I would now request Dr. Aditi to share her comments and.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to the panelists. This was a very, very interesting discussion of all renowned. So, me being from the healthcare, looking at the other point of view was very interesting. First, I'd actually like to thank the NMMIT for giving me the opportunity to be here, collaborate, and also observe this session. So I'd just like to summarize probably a few important topics which we can also carry over to the afternoon session. So like Shyam sir said, prevention is definitely better than cure. So there is a lot of scope in screening of diseases, as well as communication and education of patients in our society. So I think many doctors are mainly in the urban setup, and we are having a real deficiency of doctor in the rural setup. So in that area, I think there's a lot of scope, mainly for screening, because that is also a preventive strategy. So a lot of research can be done in the prevention part of it. Another interesting topic for discussion is the balance between the cost and the performance, because at the end, finally, the device needs to be used on the patient. So the performance has to be great, especially if it's a device within the body. Probably the performance will overbear over the cost. And we understand that even planning the device and developing it itself is an expensive journey, because it takes years and the process is very tedious. So getting a balance between them, I understand that question is so difficult to, because another part of it is we are dealing with a developing country where most of your patients are seeing the cost, and they'll only be willing for the procedure if it is cost effective. And even though government is doing its part, many of the procedures and many of the treatments are being given free, but when it comes to a new device, that will definitely not be in the government schemes. So we need to somehow build a balance. Maybe when we have more devices developing, or when the products are from India, maybe over time it might become easier. Another interesting question which I felt as a medical personnel is that the question you asked whether the AI will replace doctors, and I think many doctors have this fear that when the AI will AI become more human? Everybody would love the human touch, even patients would love the human touch. They wouldn't want to talk to computers, but what if AI becomes more human? That is one thing. Maybe in the future we see futuristic movies, and whether that is going to be a reality, we don't know, but definitely it is going to make things faster. like Sijo sir said, that it will help the doctors in the way that it will make investigations quicker and results quicker. So even decisions for the doctors will be quicker. So I think that is a good area of research in whatever field. And I really loved the audience question of which healthcare field has more research. Every person in each field would say my field, because in medical there is opportunities for surgeries, for non-surgical devices, for screening devices, and even community-based devices. So there are so many opportunities, and each person would feel that their field has more opportunities for the development of device. And what I loved about Ravi sir's talk is how he said that one idea, one surgeon's plan finally led to the development of 5 innovations. So every field will have these problems, and when you have a collaboration, and we are lucky in that way because we have a university which under its umbrella we have a medical team, we have an engineering team, we have a dental team, we have nursing. So there is opportunities for collaboration from every direction. So when we have a larger group to collaborate, more ideas, more problems come, and with those problems come ideas for solution. So probably more collaboration with a larger group will help, and I think engineering college is already going towards that path. I think in view of the time, I will end with that. It was a very interesting discussion, and we can probably carry on the discussion to the afternoon session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate the claps. Anyway, so I now request Dr. A.N. Parameswaran, Dr. Gopinath sir to just present the mementos to the panelists.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
Yeah. Sir, I request all of you to please take your seats. So we'll have a small group photo. Sir, please.
0.99% youngsters in my team out of 108, all in the age group of 26 to 35. They have done extremely well than people like us. I have a lot of grey hair, I have done a dye. So, extremely done. Hats off to you, Narendra, and all your team members. Thank you.
You can stand. I would like to thank all of the panelists and Parameshwaran sir and all the organizing secretaries who have put their most of the effort in this organizing this conclave. I think with this, without much ado, we would break for lunch.